Yes, I do want to.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. So tonight we're going to do a special one-shot. It's the first in our mini-series called Lightbringer Descent. It's going to be as of right now, 4-part mini-series. We might add some more depending on interest and scheduling around the holidays. But it's a series of one-shots that kind of introduces a campaign that we're going to be starting in Season 3, which starts in January. So these are going to be prequels to that. So if you do follow the mini-series here, you'll have a pretty good idea of what's going on in the campaign in January. If you are interested in playing in this mini-series, we do have a couple spots left open for a couple of different days. Feel free to message me if you'd like to join. And then we'll be doing a casting call for the actual campaign starting in January, sometime later this month, maybe early December. So keep your eyes out for that as well. Before we jump in with introductions and everything, I did want to let you know there is a way that you can interact with the game. You can actually affect the story and either help or hinder the players or myself as the game master. To do so, you can use one of the two links here, either coffee, or you can use that raven.rocks link to donate to the stream. It also works for subscriptions and bits if you prefer that. But you can do a few different things. So for $1, you can grant 5 temporary hit points to a player. That's a really helpful way to get them through combat. 5 HP is not a huge number, but a lot of times it can be the difference between making out alive or dying. For $2, you can gift a reroll. That's probably the most used one that we have in any of our games. $3 gives someone a switch, which basically means at any point they can tell a player or myself that the action they're about to take needs to be switched. So for example, if I was a bard and I said, I'm going to seduce that barmaid, somebody else with a switch could say, you're going to do something else to the barmaid instead. You're going to switch that action. For $5, you can grant a +10 to a player, and that is pretty dang close to an auto success in Fundamental RPG, which is the system we're using today. So that is super helpful. $10 is a sensu bean, which grants a character half their health. It's basically a health potion. For $15, you can introduce a complication into the game. That one's really fun. As long as it is setting appropriate and appropriate in general, you can suggest a complication that either helps the players or hinders the players or just causes funny shenanigans to happen. And then finally, if you're feeling very generous and you're very attached to a character, you can give a Phoenix Down, which means if that character would die, rather than dying, they just go to 1 HP instead. We've used that on a couple of campaigns before, and they are really good for saving characters that you don't want to see die. With this particular campaign, we will be doing some combat. Death may be an option. We'll find out as we go. Because, yeah, bad things are going to happen. But with that, we'll go ahead and do our introductions. So starting from the top, we'll go with Gwen. Tell us a little bit about your character, and then a little bit about you and what you do.
Hello, Liara is... Let me find the Lightbringer thing, because I don't remember the race. Lightbringer... There it is. She is, a pink, Arcarian?
Oh, an Arcarian? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, pink
I think
Arcarian.
I'm pronouncing my own race that I made up correctly. Let me check my notes.
Who is really smart
Yeah.
and pretty empathetic
Cool.
and shoots things.
Shooting things is good.
Yeah.
And yes, it is Arcarian. So you're just to confirm, your character would have that pink toned skin, slightly pointed ears, and then Arcarians are known for having a prehensile tail, which looks much like your stereotypical succubus type tail. which helps them in
Yes,
combat.
I love it.
Do
Love
remember
it.
that you get +1 to all defenses and +2 to either melee or non-gun ranged attacks. You get to choose which one you want to put that into for being an Arcarian.
Non-gun ranged. I thought that was gun ranged attacks.
No, it's like bows or slings or things like that, crossbows.
Well,
And then awesome. And then, what do you do, and where can we find you on the internet?
I do barely anything on the internet, according to some people. But yes, I play a lot on your channel, and yeah, you can find me here mostly, and on Twitter at PotatoHowa.
Perfect. With that, we'll pass it over to Patrick. Tell us a little bit about your character, and then what you do and where we can find you on the internet.
Hi, I'm playing Delvis Gal. He is a male human, early 30s. He is not a smart boy or a empathetic boy, but he's strong and he knows a little bit of magic, so that'll work out.
Fantastic.
Yep. It's you can find me as at Attack Trick online. You can find me here Thursday nights in our Star Chaser Call of Cthulhu in Space game, and Thursday mornings you can find me on the Greyhawk channel in From Beyond Orth, which is Spelljammer meets Greyhawk.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you both for being here. To give you a little bit of an introduction to the world of Lightbringer, you are all playing Sentinels for one of the large cities on the planet that you occupy. It's not Earth. Basically, humanity has gone out into the stars, settled other planets, and this particular planet, which we will call Kara, is the sort of central hub for human civilization. Along with humans on the planet, you do have two other races. We mentioned the Arcarians, which is what Liara is. And then you also have Katarans, which are, they're a small, slightly cat-like race. If you need like a visualization, think like if you've ever played League of Legends, picture like Yordles, but more human in appearance, with slightly cat-like features. So they do have more pointed ears, they have cat-like eyes, and they have claws. But for the most part, the rest of them seems like just a relatively short human. So you do have the three races that occupy the planet of Kara. On Kara, there are a number of large, very golden age of futuristic human type cities. There are spaceships and flying cars and lots of really cool futuristic technology, and it's a virtual paradise, really. Crime is not high. There's no poverty or famine. Everybody is relatively happy and healthy. Humanity, along with the Katarans and the Arcarians, have pretty much solved all of society's problems. So, as I said, you are both Sentinels, so you're part of Kara City. That's the city we'll be starting with. That capital city's guard. If I were to compare them to other sci-fi, their role is somewhere between like a Jedi and being in Starfleet and Star Trek. So you're peacekeepers, but you're also diplomats. You handle relations among all three of the races. Sometimes you're called to do exploration and special operations, things like that. So we're going to start out in Kara City. It's about, I'd say, just before noon, and it's a relatively peaceful day in the city. And we're going to go ahead and move to this slide here. Just check something real quick. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, you are on the outskirts of the city, right by the giant lake that the city sits next to. It's a relatively peaceful day, and you're meeting up to discuss what you want to do today, what patrols you have, or what particular missions you wanted to look into. You pretty much have your pick, so if there's anything that you want to do in the city, you're free to do so. So what kind of conversation do you two have as you meet up?
So, up to anything fun today?
Oh, no. Oh, no, just work.
Right, but well, how do you want to go about today? It's you let me pick last time, which I'm all about, just roaming around on hover bikes looking for trouble. But I'm pretty sure it's your turn.
Yeah. I heard about some trouble downtown. We might want to check that out. It's probably nothing, though. There's never anything.
Okay.
Right. Well, you got to make it fun. Don't have a whole lot to do, but
Yeah.
if we doing it fast or going fast there, that's fun.
Exactly. And then we can eat afterwards.
It is getting close to lunchtime, and as you're discussing that, you do hear a call over your intercoms saying that there does seem to be a kidnapping in progress over on the northwestern quadrant of the city. They give you the description of relatively young female human, probably early 20s, dark hair, and the voice over the intercom says that there is a hooded figure, three hooded figures that are currently taking her. They have a drone in the air that's watching it and keeping track, but it's having some trouble as they seem to be going into these odd shadows that their heat sensors can't track through. But the drone is managing to keep up, even though it is losing sight here and there. And they are asking for any sentinels in the area to go investigate. You're able to check your PDA, or maybe you have like a wrist-mounted heads-up display, something like that, and you're able to see that you two are the closest sentinels to where this is happening.
Well, color me surprised that trouble did pan out.
When was the last time someone was dumb enough to try kidnapping? It seems strange.
30-something years ago?
Well, we're dispatch. We're heading over now. Keep us in the loop. We'll let you know what we're seeing.
Okay. And as you respond to it, the voice on the intercom changes from something that sounds like an automated system to an actual person that goes, "All right, thank you. I've got, I'm showing Delvis and Liara assigned to this case. Please proceed to the northwest quadrant. The suspects involved seem to be taking alleys and back streets, so I do recommend planning for that accordingly. And with that, you see a map pop up on your display, and it does show like the most direct route there. It's partly on the freeway, and then it sort of delves into some of the alleys. And the voice comes back on the line and says, "I've sent you the suggested route. Feel free to proceed at your own discretion, but this is the recommended route to get there the fastest. Let us know if you need backup, and good luck."
Are the suspects on foot or in a vehicle?
They have been reported on foot. We can't tell which race they are. They're in these odd-looking hooded robes. It hides their form. We can't really see, their build, height, anything like that. And as I said, the drone, or as the automated message said, the drone is not able to follow them through certain shadows, so thermal imaging is not working. We're not sure if that's a malfunction on the drone or something that they're doing. So it is a very unusual situation. We do recommend that you proceed with caution and consider them dangerous.
Sounds like some pretty advanced tech to me.
Were the suspects armed?
We are unsure if they're armed. There's been no evidence of any weapons, but they do seem to have some sort of, we're assuming, stealth technology at this point.
So,
Of course they do. How else would they go undetected?
taking a look at as we kind of saddle up and get ready to go, taking a look at the map and like the suggested route that was set to us. Does it seem to follow like main streets? Does it utilize like alleys, shortcuts, anything like that?
Yeah, for the most, it starts out on the freeway, so it shows basically a route from the lake. You hop onto a freeway which goes around the lake, and then it has you turn off onto some back streets which lead into some of the tighter alleys and things like that, and in one of the outskirt areas of the city. So you can tell that if you were to flag down or request a car or something like that, you'd be fine for most of the way, but you'd probably have to get out on foot once you got to the alleys.
So we don't have a vehicle of our own? Do we?
You don't have a vehicle right now, but being Sentinels, you can requisition just about anything you'd like, and nobody's going to ask you any questions because you're Sentinels.
Hoverboard.
Yeah, you can requisition any vehicle that you'd like, and they'll basically teleport it to you.
Got it.
Absolutely hoverboard.
Hoverboard?
Oh yeah. Are there like hover bikes or anything like that?
Yeah, pretty much any futuristic type vehicle that you can imagine, you're able to requisition one.
Yep. Fastest one I could requisition then.
Okay.
And flashiest looking.
All right, so you
like
put in the
flames
order.
on the side to make it go faster.
Oh gosh.
So you put that in, and you do hear on the intercom after you put in that requisition. Delvis, did you enter this in right? This is like a sports bike.
Yep. No, that's right.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, yeah, sure.
Right. It's
just
coming
hear
in.
We
It's
are
coming in.
almost over. Delphis is completely unnecessary.
It's got to come in red. It's got to have the flames on the side. Those make it go faster.
I'm not sure that's scientifically accurate, but
I've got plenty of I've got plenty of anecdotal experience. I trust it.
All right. Well, hey, you're the Sentinel, so I'm just the dispatcher. So I will put in this requisition order for you, and it should be there momentarily. Liara, did you need transportation as well?
Yes. Hoverboard.
Hoverboard. Okay. Let's see here. I've got several models of hoverboard.
The fastest.
The fastest. Okay, I see one here. Now, are you licensed to handle a Type 3 jet engine hoverboard?
Yes.
Perfect. I will send that through. Again, good luck. Travel safely, and let us know what you find out. And about 30 seconds later, your little wrist comms beep, and a beam shoots out of both of your wrist comms, and these vehicles just materialize in front of you slowly via these glowing purple particles that eventually solidify into basically something that looks like a swoop bike from Star Wars, with like these giant exhaust pipes coming off the back and flame decals, and it's candy apple red. And the hoverboard is basically it looks a lot like a skateboard, like a current day skateboard, with two giant jet engines strapped to the back. And instead of there being wheels, it's got these two little repulsor lift discs on the bottom. One look at it and you'd probably be like, how on earth is this actually staying up with these giant jet engines on the back? But it is there, and it looks very, very fast. So how do you hop on and drive? What do you do?
Race you there.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to need. Let me just double check that I'm using the right skill for this one. Yeah, I'm going to go with mechanical engineering on both of these. To know how to drive them well. So go ahead and both of you give me a mechanical engineering roll.
Sure.
Yes, I shall.
14.
Ooh. 7 plus 13.
Okay, so with a 14, you hop on this super fancy, awesome sports bike, and you rev the engine, and you realize this thing is insanely powerful. And you go to hit the gas and put it in gear, and it launches forward so quickly that you kind of lose control. Give me a nimbleness roll, Delvis, to stay on the bike. Okay. So it's not graceful and it's not pretty, but you do manage to like white knuckle grip the handlebars and pull yourself back into place, and you gain control of the bike.
Got it.
So with the hoverboard, with a 13, you kind of have some of the same situation there. You hop on and you press go, and it launches forward so fast you almost fall off of the hoverboard. So give me a nimbleness roll as well.
Nice. That is a 24.
Nice.
So yeah, you don't handle getting going on the board very well, but you catch your balance really quickly, and you manage to sort of do a trick as you hop back into place, and you get a handle of how it operates. So you're both speeding down, traveling to the other part of the city where you can try to track down these individuals.
And as Liar's leaning forward, it's just going faster.
Yes. There we go. So you're racing down into a different part of the city, and that audio's a little bit loud. Turn that down. There we go. You're racing down the freeway. You manage to navigate the streets without too much problem. There's not a lot of traffic, and you pull off into these alleyways. Do you do anything along the way? Is there anything that you want to grab beforehand? Anything that you do to prepare for this sort of manhunt?
I think I'm just looking for any like side paths I can cut through that aren't on the route already. Anywhere like any buildings I think I can squeeze between, I'm gonna shoot for, because I can definitely do it.
Exactly. Same.
Okay. You could give me an education roll, or no, that's gonna be about it. Is how well you know the city. So Delvis, you're pretty much limited to your map. You're for some reason you're not really familiar with this part of the city. Maybe you just don't come out this way very often.
I'm gonna roll it.
But you can't think of anything else. And then Liara, you've got was that 24?
No, that was previous. You want me to roll education?
Yes.
Ooh, but I'm learned, so I get to re-roll that. Yay! Okay, 16 plus. Let's see. 34.
Okay, you're very familiar with this part of town. You kind of pause a second to think, and you remember at one point studying a detailed survey of this part of town, where they surveyed all the streets and the alleyways, and you had just have this moment of like a photographic memory, and you can recall even the measurements that they gave for the width of the streets and the alleys. And you managed to find a little bit of a faster way to get to where dispatch told you to go. Now, Delvis, let me have you roll sight to see if you notice Liara altering her route.
Let's see. Oh,
Oh!
Nice.
Nat 20.
So that pretty much gives you the equivalent of a 32, which means you definitely notice. You can see Liara thinking, and you're like, oh, I can see the wheels turning. She's thinking about something. And you notice her start to deviate her path. Do you follow?
I look for any kind of parallel path I could get on, just because I'm sure if I get like, in my head, if I get a breakaway like stretch of air here, I could get in front of her now. Now that I've like seen where she's broadcast she's going.
You look around, but you don't really see another route that you could go. At least none that you're certain would put you in the right spot. You do see a couple of alleyways that you could go down, but you have no idea where they lead. They might get you where you want to go, and they might take you in the wrong direction.
Oh no, that's definitely the right way to go.
Okay. Evens or odds there, Patrick?
Odds.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a mechanical engineering roll to try and gun it and swing out into that alleyway to get around Liara.
No.
Okay. There's good news and bad news. The good news is you didn't roll a 1.
Yeah.
The bad news is you did not roll well.
Nope.
So you try to swerve around, and in doing so, you actually stall your engine. And basically, your bike just sort of slowly moves to a resting state in the middle of the freeway. You've got people honking at you and angry drivers whipping around you, and Liara is out of there.
Waving.
The problem is I slowed down too much. I needed to keep going faster. That was the problem.
Yeah, you kind of just forgot about the gas and just kept giving it, moving the transmission. And yeah, it just stalled out on you. So we'll come back to you in a sec. Liara, you make it down the correct alley, and you manage to get to the starting point that dispatch sent you to faster than even dispatch expected you to get there. Go ahead and give me a sight roll as you get there. Other options that you can do if you would like, you can do hearing, you can also do gut feeling, or even naturalist in this instance.
22 for sight.
Okay. 22 for sight. So as you look around, you notice signs of a struggle. You can see that there is a purse on the ground. The strap to the purse has been broken. You can see these sort of like scuff marks of probably where some fancy rubber shoes had been dragged across the concrete in this area. And so there's scuff marks on the ground that aren't usually there, and they lead off in a direction off to your left, down another alleyway. You also notice that the alleyway seems unusually dark for practically noon at this point. I mean, it's, to quote Overwatch, it's high noon. So there shouldn't be any shadows or anything. The sun's directly overhead, but that alleyway is dark.
Yeesh.
What do you do?
So examining the scene, I see signs of a struggle. I see that it is suspiciously dark. I am going to take out my gun and slowly walk forward.
Okay. Now, question, with your light magic, what is your sort of method of choice of using your light?
I don't.
Is it
I don't.
okay? So your light is more of a we can say that it helps you with your intellect or something like that. Maybe you use your light to make things easier to remember or something like that. Would that work?
Yes.
Okay. The reason I ask is because as you approach that shadow, that alleyway, your spidey senses start to tingle. So in your case, maybe you start remembering some old stories, and your head feels a little bit tingly. Give me an education roll to see what you remember.
Ooh. Okay, that was a 9 plus 16 is 25.
Okay. So with a 25, you're not sure why you're even remembering this, but clear as day, a thought pops into your head where you remember this old story you heard as a young girl about how before humans had light, there used to be just evil things that lurked in shadow, and sometimes those shadows seemed physical. They used to call them things like warlocks and sorcerers and demons. Those stories haven't been told in ages, but you do remember one time hearing that story. And like I said, you're not sure why it pops into your head, but your head does feel kind of tingly.
Yeah, I'm going to cautiously take stock of the area.
Okay. Do you approach the alley further? Do you go into it, or are you just sort of holding position and looking around?
I am waiting for my partner.
Okay. Well, then on that note, we will pan back over to Delvis. You've managed to get your hover bike working again. You've restarted the engine. You're still getting angry gestures from drivers as they pass you.
Stupid.
Do you go down the path that Liara went down, or do you keep trying to go towards your shortcut?
Oh no, I'm confident that my shortcut was right. I continue to force that way.
Okay, give me another mechanical engineering check to... basically, you're going to be hopping the curb and going over a median on the freeway to get to this alley. 15, good enough. You probably bang the underside of the bike on the curb as you hop it. Probably go through a couple of bushes. So you've caused some scratches and some dents on this thing, but you managed to get off the freeway and down this alley. Let's see, evens or odds again?
Odds again.
Odds. Okay, awesome. So you head down, and as you're speeding down this alleyway, do you use caution? Do you slow down and look for turns and curves, or do you just floor it?
I don't think caution is a thing I do. I think I just floor it.
Okay. As you floor it, you rapidly come upon basically a 90-degree turn to the right. Give me another mechanical engineering roll to see how well you handle this bike that you have floored through this tight alleyway.
I'm so bad at mechanical
One
engineering.
quick question: laser pistols? How do I do laser pistols?
Those would be tech weapons. So,
Yay.
yeah.
It's a big old 10.
Perfect. So, yeah, you get an A for effort. You try. You do spot the turn, and you hit the brakes, and you do even manage to like do the whole leaning into the turn and turning the bike with your body kind of thing. The hover bike just does this sort of as it just slams into the wall that you were heading towards. You're gonna take damage because you do get pinned between the wall and the bike.
Sure.
So you'll take 3 damage. You managed to pull your leg mostly out of the way. But the bike is now sputtering. And it's still hovering. It's still working. But it's definitely got some sort of damage to it that means it might not work indefinitely.
No. Clearly technology is failing me again, and my legs are faster than this hover bike. I'm gonna sprint.
Okay. So you take the turn and go down to the right then?
Yes.
Or? Okay. So as you run down this alleyway, you start looking around. Give me a sight roll.
Gosh. I'm as good at sight as I am at mechanical engineering.
12. Okay. Okay. So you're running down this alleyway.
Can
Huh?
Liara call Delvin and ask him what's taking so long?
Yes, you can. Let me cover this part here, and then you absolutely can call Delvis and be like, dude, where are you? So as you're running down this alleyway, you get distracted. There's a deli. It's like the back door to a deli, but they're baking bread today, and it smells amazing. And it's almost lunchtime, so you're really hungry. So you do one of these, like, you're running straight ahead, and then your head just slowly turns as you're running.
Is there a disembodied floating hand just beckoning me towards the delicious food?
Almost. It's like that. And that is all you're focused on is that smell. And so you don't realize that you run straight into this, again, unusual shadow. So as you're staring at the sign, suddenly everything becomes black. It's completely dark, and you feel cold. And you said you use your light magic through your sword mostly, right?
Mostly, yeah.
So your sword hand is glowing yellow. And something feels very wrong. Give me a gut feeling check. You pretty much, at that point, realize I need to focus. You look around, don't see anything except for what's illuminated by your glowing sword hand. And that's only really giving you maybe a 1.5 foot length of or field of vision. So you just kind of go, I'm in danger. And yeah, you know you're in danger, but you can't really see. What do you do?
I wonder if I'll kind of close my eyes a little bit and see if hearing works a little bit better for me. If kind of stopping trying to rely on sight.
Okay, go ahead and roll hearing. As you do that, Liara, what do you say when you call up Delvis?
I got here a couple minutes ago, and it's dark. Where are you?
So You hear that
Take
very
these
loudly in your intercom.
I focus
startles
deep
you a
and
little
hear
bit.
that message. Oh, yep. I'm at the actual crime scene. As usual, my instincts were to be trusted instead of the map. There is an aggressive shadow here.
There's an aggressive shadow here too. Maybe there's more than one.
My hand is glowing. It's if you can see my hand glowing, then maybe it's the same aggressive shadow.
Do I see his hand glowing?
You do not.
I don't see you. And is Liara's head aggressively glowing?
Your head is actually glowing that yellow. It's very faint at this point because you're not actually in the shadow, and you can't see it because it's your head. But yes, your head is glowing a soft yellow.
Just before the shadow happened, there were delicious smelling meats and cheeses and sandwiches. If you can follow those smells, that's where I'm
Yes,
at.
I'm going to roll smell.
Okay.
Oof. I'm going to use my reroll and actually roll on roll 20 this time. It's only one better.
Yeah. Take that reroll off. There we go.
Yeah, roll 20. Yeah, the dice know that Liara can't smell.
So 12. Yeah, you sniff around and you're like, I don't smell bread. Oddly enough, you have zero idea before today what despair smelled like. But for some reason, you're like, I think I smell despair.
I can smell emotions now.
You just instinctively know that that's what despair smells like.
So it's haven't showered or changed clothes in 3 months.
It's like it's a little bit of that mixed with like wet dog smell and like stale cigarette smoke.
Oh god, I know that smell.
So it's like all those mixed together, and you're like, that it smells really good. So you've never smelled anything like it before.
Smells awful.
And it's coming from the shadow, but you don't smell bread or anything like that. Would you like a GM hint?
Well, it's does the clearly inferior and flawed map that Dispatch sent to us is that still available to look at?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That was going to be my hint. It's like you do have a map.
So it's if you pull up the map, I will ping my location and you can follow it to the actual crime scene. Still refusing to admit that he's in the wrong place.
You did say that you smelled food, and we did say that we were going for food afterward.
Right.
And Liara will go to Delvin's location.
Okay. So you have two options on how to get there. As you look at the map, you can backtrack and go the same way that Delvis went, or you notice that there's a path going through that alley where the shadow is that sort of circles around to that position.
Option 2, on the hoverboard.
Okay. So as you get on the hoverboard and you enter the alley, that story comes to mind again. And you hear this little bit of a song. It's like remembering a melody where you're missing every other note. And you can't really put your finger on what the song was, but it sounds very old. And you're like, why is this in my head? And and then you realize that everything is dark except for about 1.5 feet around you. And at this point, you can kind of tell that your head is glowing because that's where the light is coming from.
Well, I'm a lanternfish now.
Is this darkness that we're both in, is it kind of like all encompassing, or do we still see like shadows in the buildings around us? Or is it just like inky blackness?
It's like inky blackness. It feels tangible. You can breathe just fine. It doesn't feel like you're breathing in fumes or anything like that, but as you move your hands and things like that around it, you feel resistance.
Am I able to take like 2 steps backwards and step out of it? Or does it seem to... Or has the exit kind of disappeared?
You can definitely try that. That's actually one question I had was, do you just, for Liara, do you speed through the alleyway or do you pause? Okay. So you speed down the alleyway, and if you look at your map, you can kind of track your position and you can see, yes, I am actually moving. But it seems to take you about twice the amount of time it should to get through that alleyway. So you feel like you've been in there for like 30 minutes at this point. By the time you come out the other side, and everything seems fine once you do. Delvis, you take 2 steps back and you feel like you're still in this shadow. You can't see anything different.
Right. I think that's kind of what I'm doing while I wait for Liara to get here, is just see if I can test the bounds of this place.
Okay.
Like if I can walk over to like the wall of the deli where I knew the building was, if that's kind of where it should be as a landmark.
Okay. So yeah, you take 2 steps back, you're still in the blackness, you can't see an exit to it. You still have a decent enough sense of direction that you know, okay, the deli wall should be to my right. So you walk to your right about the amount of distance that you think it should be, maybe a couple extra steps, and you're still just in this inky blackness. You can't see your way out, and you're like, I'm pretty sure this is where the building should be, but there's nothing here but just more shadow. Liara, you've come out the other end of your shadow.
Yeah.
And you're realizing that took longer than it should have. And I mean, you can check your watch and see that it took longer than it should have.
Yeah.
And then your internal sense of time makes it feel like you were in there forever. And you feel tired.
Yeah, it's... Delvin, it's weird. I feel tired. I feel like I took way longer than I actually did according to my watch. I would avoid going in the shadow.
Right. Well, once I get out of it, I will avoid going into it.
Wonderful.
All right.
Right. It's all of the landmarks around me seem to be gone as well. Like the alley is not as long as this expanse is.
Do you have it? So you said your hand is glowing?
Yes, I think.
My head was glowing.
Did that help at all?
No. It did make me look kind of like a lanternfish, I think. Anyway, I'm on my way. Almost there.
Okay. About that time, Liara, you do notice a couple of other little pockets of shadow here and there, but you're able to avoid them. And again, they just look like this inky black shadow. They don't really have a form or a shape. It's just sort of a void. But you're able to avoid those, and you pull around, and you can see a very large shadow, right about where Delvis should be. And
Yeah,
now
I'm
you can smell the bread now.
I'm going to call out, Delvin! Does Delvin hear me?
Delvis, you hear Liara on the intercom.
Delvis.
You do not hear Liara otherwise.
I guess that's another good question for my surroundings is the smell that I got from the shop before I stepped into the shadow. Is that still present here?
No, it is not.
Okay.
Also smells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, kind of.
All right. Well, it's if Liara was in shadow and she got out, I'm not about to get. I don't want to need to get rescued. I'm just gonna choose a direction and run.
Okay, which direction do you choose? So you started out facing, we'll say, for this experiment, north, and then you took 2 steps back and you turned to east and took a few steps.
I think I'm gonna keep running east, towards where I thought that the sandwich shop was.
Okay. Give me a nimbleness check. See how quickly you were able to run. 15? It's decent. So you run in that direction. Are you holding your hands out to feel for things, or are you just sort of charging straight ahead?
I don't think I've thought of that. I think I'm just like, I think hands just to the side, like aggressively pumping and running.
Okay. So about, I'd say a good 60 to 90 seconds after that, you basically run face first into a brick wall and fall down on your butt and take 1 damage.
Nice.
As you put your hand up to where you just ran into something, you can see the brick wall because your hand is glowing. But you're still in that inky blackness.
Liara's going to... Delvin, are you okay? Do you need help?
No help needed, but I do think we should meet to further this investigation, which is going great. I'm confident we are getting to the bottom of this.
Okay.
Liara goes into the shadow.
I have found a wall, which is significant progress from
Yes.
no walls.
Yes, congratulations.
Okay. As you go into the shadow, you again get that sort of, this feels really wrong feeling, and you feel the resistance in the air. But you do see, just very faintly, way off in the distance, this slight yellow glow. And Delvis, you as you look back, you can also see this slight yellow glow way off in the distance.
Yeah, I'm going to go as fast as I can on the hoverboard to Delvis.
Jeez.
Okay. It takes you about a minute, and then you pull up next to Delvis, and you can actually see each other. It's like being in a cave full of fog machine type smoke, with just the faintest glowing light to illuminate everything. That's kind of what it looks like. So you can see each other, but it's very dim and it's very foggy looking.
Delvis, get on. We're going to go back the way I came.
All right. Did you see anything on the way here? I mean, before the shadow.
Other shadows and other groups of shadows, I think. Either groups or just black spots.
Right. I think you mentioned it did take I know you mentioned time-wise, it didn't seem correct for what was spent in the shadow. Distance is not what it should be either. Things are not 1-to-1.
No, they are certainly not.
But yeah,
And the faster we get out, the less time we have to spend in the shadow.
About that time as you're having that conversation, you both hear over the intercom, Liara and Delvis, this is Dispatch. How are things going with that case? Have you reached the destination yet?
Things are going splendid. We reached the destination 15 minutes ago.
Okay, what did you find?
Black. Just blackness everywhere.
Yep, it's
Um,
black icky zones that.
It's weird.
Can you be more specific? I mean, do we need to send backup? I know the captain's going to ask. You know, I can't go into the captain's office and be like, they said there's blackness. He'll have my head. I need more detail.
It's thick. It's viscous. It smells god awful.
Right. It's like a tangible zone of shadows. And it takes longer to get through than it should, both in terms of distance and time. So
Yes.
this is not that there's common kidnappings anymore, but something is weird.
Okay, hold on 1 second. And you hear silence. And about 30 seconds later, you hear her come back on the line, and she says, all right, I've redirected the drone to come back and see if it can see you. All right. So I think I see the shadow you're talking about. But I do not see either of you on thermal or on regular vision or night vision.
The shadow would be obscuring it.
Yes, I can't see you on any of the drone sensors. It's the one next to the deli, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're in there, I can't see you.
We're working our way out of this one, but from what the drone is seeing, from the initial site of the kidnapping, is there a trail of these popping up in any specific direction? Or are they kind of
propping pattern?
Yes.
Yes, they seem to be popping up sporadically behind the hooded figures. One of the other drones is still following them, and they do seem to create these things as they move.
Can you put one of the hooded figures on the map so we can go after them?
Oh, sure, no problem. And you both notice that your map updates to show where the other drone is and the best guess at where the hooded figures are. Yeah, as I explained before, they kind of hop in and out of the shadows, so we're having trouble tracking them. We lose them every so often, but we're pretty sure this is where they're at now.
Okay. We're gonna get out of here real quick and get back on that trail. If you've got a drone to spare, since signal is still coming in and out of these things, even though the drone can't see from the outside, it might be worth sending one in to get some readings on the environment that we could then work with.
And get some samples of this shadow.
Sure. I mean, your comms, your computer units should have all the same sensors. If you want to take those readings yourself, that way we don't have to send a drone in. I don't know how this will affect technology like robots
Perfect.
and things.
Do I roll tech engineering?
Yes.
Yes! Please not a 1. Please not a 1. It's not a 1. 19 total.
Yeah, so you're able to use your comm unit wherever you have it in whatever format it is. Totally up to you, but you're able to use it to take some readings inside the shadow. What readings specifically do you want to take?
It's going to be samples of the shadow, temperature, and spatial, like space of the shadow.
Okay, so you take a sample of the shadow, basically like taking an air sample. So it gives you this little glass sort of vial, and you can see that it's got that swirling, inky black smoke inside of it. As you take the temperature, you can tell that it's very cold. It's probably about 15 degrees colder than it was outside the shadow. And for a spatial reading, you turn on the comm units. It's got like this limited range radar type sensor on it. And you turn that on, and it shows. I mean, you're not sure why, but when you look at it, it shows that you are in basically the equivalent of an open field. It doesn't show you any boundaries at all. According to that, this expanse goes on forever.
Well, let's get going if we're going.
Yep, that's clearly a mistake.
Yes. Clearly a mistake.
I climb on the back of your hoverboard. I'll obviously let you pilot it.
Okay.
But I'm definitely throwing off your balance in the back.
You want me to roll for this?
Mechanical engineering, just to pilot back the way you came.
Oh yes, yes. That is a 25.
Okay, so 25.
No, 25.
Yeah. So the 25, you flip the board around, you even do a little trick with it, and you zoom back the way you came, and after about 2.5 minutes now, you pop out the other side, and you hear dispatch go, "Oh, there you are. I've got you on the drone. I can see you."
We're heading towards the hooded figures now.
Are you two okay? Do you feel okay?
Why wouldn't we?
Relatively.
I don't know. Maybe it's something weird with the drone, but you just look very like washed out. Like, I don't know, the color's out of your skin, and
Yeah.
I mean your clothes look really like washed out too. That's weird.
It's probably a problem with the drone. We'll get it fixed.
Yeah, we're gonna do diagnostics on all these drones once this case is over, because they're all acting weird.
Yeah, you should take a look at that hover
Everything is
bike
acting
too.
weird.
That hover bike was falling apart.
Huh? Really? That's weird. I mean, it was fine when we sent it.
I'm not sure, but hoverboard's working fine for now.
Do a charm roll, Delvis. So, you hear dispatchers go, right. Delvis, did you crash another vehicle?
A vehicle crashed and I survived the malfunction.
Malfunction, right.
Yes.
I'm certain if the station's insurance goes up, it's coming out of your paycheck.
I don't know about that. We'll talk to the people at Tech. I'm sure they'll work the kinks out of this eventually.
The people at Tech don't want to talk to you anymore.
I'll talk to them.
If I go down there and say you said something, they're going to kick me out.
It sounds like they're pretty difficult to work with. We should really take a look at that department. May need an overhaul.
I'll take a look at the bike later.
I'm just dispatch. You'll want to talk to HR about that, but I'm just telling you, that's what the captain said. He said if you crash one more vehicle and it makes the insurance goes up, he's taking it out of your paycheck. I don't make the rules, I just relay them.
Liara whispers to Delvis, I'll fix your bike later.
Okay.
They won't know.
There's a piece of fuzz or something floating right in my face. I just realized I probably look insane on the camera right now. I found it. It was my cat's had like a little bit of hair that was floating right in front of my face. Anyways, so yeah, then she's like, all right, well, just take the hoverboard, go find the perps, and take care of it. So, do you follow the map to the new location?
Yes, yes. We follow the map. Liara follows the map studiously.
Okay. So you follow the
and
map
tries to get visuals on the perps.
Okay, you follow the map and you see more pockets of this shadow stuff pop up here and there. You're able to maneuver around them, no problem. And then you start to notice some of the drones in the sky and realize you're getting close. And finally, you catch a glimpse of them. So go ahead and both of you roll sight for me.
Not bad. 23.
14.
Okay. So with a 14, you do see the hooded figures, and you see just the barest glimpse of the human that they're hauling with them. They're kind of holding her by the arm, just under the shoulder, and she's struggling, but it's obvious that they're overpowering her. And
Liara, if you get us close enough, I'll dive off and try and tackle one off of them.
I'll just shoot one.
all right.
I'm like getting springy and just getting ready to leap off of the hoverboard and tackle somebody.
Okay.
Like doing stretches on the back.
All right, no problem.
Liara's going to get close, but not too close. But
Well, let me tell you what Liara sees.
Once Delvis is off, yeah.
Okay.
She's
So-
going to back up.
Let me tell you what you see, because it might change what you decide to do. So, Liara, you see a lot more. You notice that as you stare at these hooded figures, you catch a glimpse of what should be their face, and it's just more of that inky blackness sort of exuding out from under the hood. You don't see eyes, you don't see facial features. It looks like somebody took a giant lump of dry ice and put it in a hood, and instead of it being white, it was all black. So there's just these like vapors of that black stuff wisping out of the hood. And as it stares back at you, you feel this just sudden chill seem to kind of go down to the very core of your being, and you feel very cold, and it feels very wrong. But he quickly turns his head and they dive back into another shadow, taking the human with them. And you notice that the human that they have, her skin is very pale, and the outfit that she's wearing, she's got like a blue skirt on. There's barely any color left in that skirt. She's like turning into a grayscale version of herself. But they dive into one of the shadows.
I would not suggest engaging with them.
I was gonna say, are we close enough where Delvis, not seeing any of those details, still was able to leap off at them? Like not
Yeah.
catching that was a bad idea?
No.
It depends. Liara, do you pull right up to the shadow, or do you stop a ways away from it?
Liara will not engage.
So you're
Because
gonna
Liara is cautious.
Okay, so you're gonna stop before you actually get to the shadow.
If I can shoot it before it gets into the shadow, I would. But
You don't have time to because you're driving basically. You don't have time to pull out your gun and shoot them before they get into the shadow. but you can shoot right after they get into the shadow if you want to. Entirely up to you.
No. No, I'll just go past the shadow.
Okay. So you managed to maneuver the hoverboard beyond the shadow, going around it.
And look at the map and see if they're still on the map.
Okay. The drones around are not registering those figures anymore because they've gone into the shadow. However, Liara, as you pull around the shadow, that does give Delvis an opportunity to dive in, assuming he still wants to.
Oh, yeah, when you pull around, he's just like, "Oh man, great thinking there," and I absolutely just swimming dive leap into the shadows.
Okay, give me. I'm gonna have you give me a might roll to see how far you can jump off of the bike or off of the hoverboard.
33.
Awesome.
Liara's Ooh.
Yeah, you like the back end of the hoverboard scrapes the ground a little bit because of just how forcefully you leapt off of that thing, and you're jumping up high enough in the air. You could do a couple of tricks before you land in the shadow if you would like to.
I think not so much tricks as well, maybe like one somersault mid jump.
Perfect.
But just mainly going for distance.
Okay.
And then Liara, once he jumps off, is going to maneuver into the shadow, doing some.
All right. So Delvis, you're going the distance and going for speed, and you find yourself all alone. You land in the shadow, and it's the same thing. It's completely dark. All you can see is that your hand is glowing again, and you don't see the hooded figures or the human. Give me a hearing check, though.
Right, because it should be taking them. I mean, unless they operate by different rules, it should be taking them a while to get to us, and that's a natural one.
Awesome.
You have a reroll.
You do have a reroll.
No, let's stick with this.
Okay.
Let's stick with that one.
So, you don't hear anything, and you have 0 warning. Which means you basically will not get a defense roll for this. It just hits. Within that inky blackness, you do manage to feel, albeit too late, but you feel kind of that feeling when somebody closes a door really fast, and there's that sort of that gust of wind that blows off of the door, if you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. It feels like that, except instead of it being harmless air, it is this concentrated, inky black vapor, and it just hits you like a truck. So it's going to do a significant amount of damage, or it would had I rolled well. So it does 3 damage.
Would everything we've been doing so far count as an encounter for my tank feat or whatever?
I would say this is your first encounter.
Got it.
So if you have temporary hit points, they would come off of those.
Got it.
Yeah, you take 3 damage from that, and the light from your hand goes out.
Oof.
It's pitch black now. And with that, we'll go over to Liara. You said you're turning around and zooming back into the shadow?
As fastly as she can.
Okay, give me a quick mechanical engineering roll to see how well you maneuver that.
Why is it always mechanical?
Because you're using a machine.
Why can't it be tech engineering?
Because it's not computers.
That's a natural 1. Plus 8 would be 9.
Yeah,
plus 6 would be 7.
Okay. You whip around, you get into the shadow, But as you do, it's so dark you lose your balance, and you manage to run right into Delvis. Delvis, it is unfortunately completely pitch black, and you have zero warning this is happening. So, yeah, you're just gonna get barreled into. Liara, you can give me a nimbleness roll to see how well you recover from this.
Please. That is a 17.
Okay. So you manage to dive off the hoverboard and sort of roll on the ground. You'll take 1 damage from that, because just how fast you were going. But all in all, you did a pretty good job of dismounting the vehicle before it crashed into Delvis. Delvis, you take 5 damage from this giant hoverboard smacking right into you.
Oh, damn faulty tech.
You're both
That
in
was
the shadow now.
obviously user error on my part.
No, don't try and cover for them.
You can, Liara, you can kind of see about 1.5 feet around you. But that's about it. You can see a very vague outline of Delvis. Delvis, you still can't see anything.
No, it's Liara. Are you there? It's an angry breeze blew out my hand.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, I didn't take anything that would be useful. So I will. Oh, shoot.
Would you like a suggestion?
Yes.
So
I want to make the light bigger somehow.
yes, you have action points that you can use to use your light for different things. So you could basically, I mean, this analogy is a joke, but it actually kind of works here. You could literally cast Magic Missile at the darkness here. So you could fight the shadow by making your light bigger.
Yes, I want to make my light bigger.
Okay,
That's exactly what I want to do.
Roll magic engineering for me.
Can it be tech engineering?
Do you have a computerized flashlight?
I do, actually.
Okay, you could try to roll tech engineering for that.
Yes. I shall use my flashlight.
Okay.
Not terrible. Still bad. It's an 18.
18? So yeah, you pull out a flashlight. We'll say that it's like a part of your comm system or like a smartphone or something like that. And you fiddle with it, or hack into it or whatever to boost the amount of lumens that it puts out. And your battery is draining a little bit faster, but not too bad. And the light does get brighter. You're able to see Delvis perfectly fine for about 10 seconds. He looks very, very washed out. But after about 10 seconds, the light starts to flicker. And it cuts off.
Did I see that light flare up?
Yeah.
You did.
Ooh, let me see if I can replicate that.
You were.
Is there any way I could take? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you were blinded by science.
Is there any way I could take my magic sword and see if, even though my hand has gone out, if I could channel some brightness through that?
Yes, you can. It would be magic engineering.
Okay.
Because someone has to be.
There we go. There we go.
Awesome.
39.
Fantastic. So yeah, you pull out your sword, and it takes you a couple minutes. You have to really focus And the first couple tries, it doesn't work. But after some concerted effort, your hand comes back on, and you're able to, with this loud noise, the sword activates, and there's a brightly glowing blade with like these yellow flames around the blade. And it acts like a torch, and it literally cuts through the darkness.
I picture it a little bit like, have you played Transistor?
Yes.
No.
I picture it like the sword from that, only without kind of the circuit board imagery of it. Kind of like some grooves with just runes and lights going through that.
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
So a runic blade,
Okay, yeah, that
but
sounds
made of light.
that sounds pretty much like what it would be, yeah.
And I try and wave it in the direction away from where I saw Liara. Since I've got a sense of where she's at, I'm looking
Okay.
for whatever came at me.
So putting it in the direction of where the blast came from, you do see the faintest outline of some hooded figures moving. They're decent ways away from you because they've been moving this entire time. But the light does hit them, and you hear them go as they scurry away faster.
Can
Well,
I
that sounds
cast
promising.
stasis on them?
You try what now?
Okay, so you said I could use tech engineering for like Mass Effect type things. Stasis is one of them.
Yeah, basically, you can use like psionic type stuff.
Yes, I want to do that.
Okay.
So roll attribute plus training.
Well,
Right.
are you trying to you're trying to basically attack them with this and hold them?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, it would be mental attribute plus any training you have in tech weapons
Perfect.
plus your roll, and that'll be to hit.
That's still 20. That's
Okay.
still 20. I rolled a 5. That's still 20 though.
Okay. So yeah, the which one were you aiming for? There's two that you can see, one on the left, one on the right. They're about
Does
equal
one of
distance
them
away.
have the abductee?
They both do. So basically, you've got one on the left, and with their right hand, they're holding the girl's left arm, and then one on the right, and with their left hand, they're holding her right arm, and they're sort of like lifting her a little bit and pushing her along.
The one on the left.
Okay. So they rolled a 24 to avoid it. So they sort of duck at the last second, and it's really bizarre. You see the hood. The body stays facing forward, but the hooded part turns completely around and stares back at you. And you just hear, again, this...
Oh. I'm going to try and lift the other one.
Okay. You can do that. Make sure to spend a bonus action point for each instance of that,
Okay.
since you're adding an effect to it.
That is a 19 plus 15, so 34.
Nice. 34. They rolled a nat 20. So, yeah, they avoid it as well.
No.
These hooded guys are sharp, apparently. So yeah, they avoid it as well. And again, the hood turns, completely. I guess it's 180 degrees, and they just. At this point, they've kind of gotten out of the range of the light. Delvis, what do you do?
So Delvis mostly just uses this sword unless he's figured out a way to make that into a. I think he'd like to figure out a way to make that into some kind of long range projectile with it, but I think he's still kind of working at that. So at this point, he's just legging it after them.
Okay. Like mechanically, I can tell you how you could do that, unless it's just part of the character that you're still trying to figure that out.
Oh no, sure, please.
So if you wanted to add an effect to your weapon, to your magic weapon, it's pretty much just like what Gwen did there. So you spend a bonus action point, you roll the attack, and then if it hits, you roll magic engineering to see how effective that added effect was. Okay. So for example, you could go like Legend of Zelda style and be like, I'm gonna swing my sword but also shoot out like this power beam at them, you know. So what you would do is you'd roll your magic weapon attack, and then if it hits, you'd roll magic engineering, and then depending on how high the roll is, depends on, you know, if the beam goes far enough, or how much damage it does, or you know, things like that.
Got it.
Generally, the DCs are every 5, so you've got 15, 20, 25, 30. Each 5, it does a bigger or better effect.
Okay, in that case, I am going to still try and run at them, but as I'm running, I'm going to try and almost pulling the sword up from the ground in an arc, kind of coming up in front of me, almost like I'm almost like I'm scooping a beam of light up at them that way.
Okay.
Kind of like this way.
Gotcha.
Like Link with the Master Sword.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll. It'll be your spiritual plus training in magic weapons to actually do the hit.
So I think that is 20 plus 12. Okay.
17. Okay. They actually rolled poorly. They got a 14, so that's gonna hit. So go ahead and roll magic engineering, and we'll see how effective was that.
Got it. And I spend an action point for this, correct?
Correct.
Okay. 29.
29. Nice. So it's very effective.
What?
It's exactly the size of beam that you want it to be. It goes straight, and it definitely hits them head on, and will do 1d8 plus your spiritual attribute damage.
Sure. Which it's 1d8 plus 5. So 9.
9. Okay. Awesome. So you do 9 damage, and that causes that one on the right to get staggered. So they lose their grip on the girl and kind of trip. You see the other one just grip harder and run faster through the shadow. But the other one is on the ground, trying to pick himself up.
Are we doing initiative order or anything? Or
we're doing a sort of soft turn order, so it's going to be you next, Liara.
So Liara's going to try stasis again.
Okay.
Objectively. That's it. It really doesn't matter what I roll, apparently. It's going to... That's 15 plus 8, 23.
Okay, they rolled a 9. So that will
Yes.
hit. Go ahead and roll
Stasis!
tech engineering to see how effective your stasis is.
Please. Nat 20!
Nice.
Nat 20
Nice.
plus 14, 34. Nat 20.
So I forgot to ask, who are you trying to put the stasis on?
The one that is not down.
Okay.
The one that's...
So you lock that one into stasis. That'd
be a 44 actually, because it's not 20.
Yeah. So yeah, they don't seem to move at all. And the girl is able to pull her arm free of it. And she screams and runs.
I don't suppose she runs towards us.
Nope. She runs straight ahead. Do you do anything else, Liara?
Yes, because I'm going to spend another bonus action point to try and stasis the one that's down. Would that be easier or harder?
I will give you a +5 since they are currently on the ground trying to pull themselves up.
Nice. So that is a 16 plus 20, 36.
36. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna hit. Yes, it will. So go ahead and roll tech engineering to see how effective your stasis is.
Yes, that is a 26.
26. Okay. Yeah, they're effectively stunned in place or stasised in place. They're not really moving. Which will bring us to Delvis. You see all of this. What do you do?
Well, she's running off on her own. I'm going to just sprint as fast as I can after her to try and catch her.
Okay, give me a nimbleness roll to see how quickly you can rush over there.
19.
19. Yeah, you do a pretty good job. You're able to see because of the sword, so you can step over things that are in the way. And
as I'm running past the two stasis folk, I'm just like, stay here, await arrest.
You just hear a...
I love it. I love Delvis.
So, yeah, they just respond with hisses and guttural noises. But yeah, you catch up to the girl. What do you say?
Don't go off on your own. Stick with us. We'll get out of this shadow together. They're stuck. They're not following you anymore.
Give me a speech roll.
Oof. I could catch up to people. I can't talk them down. That's a 10.
10.
That's a 10.
So you're trying to convey, hey, it's okay. They've been stopped. You're safe. It's all right. What she hears is, stop it right now! Of course, that's not what you said, but that's what's going through her head. That's all she kind of perceives from you. She gets more scared and keeps running. Liara, what do you do?
Liara is going to run and catch up to the girl.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a nimbleness roll as well.
Yes, please. Yes, please. That's 20 total.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to catch up to her. What do you do?
I'm going to come with me, honey. Charm.
Okay. Go ahead and roll charm. Now, are you trying to be flirty in your charm, or are you just sort of... Okay.
That would be a 21.
Okay. So you rolled a 21 to flirt with this abducted lady in this supernatural shadow.
Yes.
Perfect.
Who just got screamed at by a guy with a sword.
Yep. So she's not so much seduced as she is sort of really weirded out.
I love it. I love it.
But it does distract her from her fear long enough to recognize that you have a Sentinel's uniform on. And so she pauses a step. You have another chance to try to convince her not to run away.
Nice. I'm
You
gonna
can
roll
try to-
speech.
Okay.
It's not nearly as good as my charm. Oh. Try one more time. That is a 5.
So at this point, she's pretty sure that that's a costume, not a uniform. And she runs away even faster.
Stasis. Immediately.
Okay, we will get back to that in just a second, because that took a little bit of time. So, Delvis, do you do anything before Liara tries to stasis the victim?
If I'm kind of at the same level as them, I'm just going to turn around and keep an eye, if I can, on the two stasis shadow mist beings,
Okay.
just to see just so I don't lose sight of them.
Okay. Roll sight for me.
16.
Okay. So you notice that those hooded robes are starting to deflate. The robes aren't going anywhere, but they're no longer holding a humanoid shape. They're like deflating like Obi-Wan's robes at the end of A New Hope.
Can I don't. It wouldn't technically be an attack, but I guess could I focus a little bit of light from my sword and make almost like a flare up in the middle of this area?
Sure. Roll magic engineering.
36.
Yeah. You get a surge of light, and it's like turning a floodlight on. The whole area is illuminated very brightly. It's like turning on a bright light in a bunch of fog. So the light is, what's the word? Refracted, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. So it's kind of diffused, but it is well lit. So what are you trying to do with the light there?
I guess one, I'm trying to listen for hissing and still see if like those two things are still here, if they're still present. And I guess secondarily, if that lights up anything that's moving away from the robes, if that makes sense. Like if they're just disappearing or if they're like going amorphous and oozing away.
It looks like more the latter. You catch just the briefest glimpse of somewhat thicker and darker black smoke coming out of the robes. And then a few seconds later, you hear this. It doesn't matter. They're coming.
Who's coming?
Nice.
That's all you hear. You get the sudden chill, and then the shadow around all of you slowly dissipates.
Nice.
Liara, you can still cast stasis if you'd like at the girl who's still running away.
Or I could just follow her.
Okay. She keeps running until she can't run anymore and kind of collapses on the side of a car.
And as she does, I just take out my badge and I show her I'm a sentinel.
She's still pretty
I
sure
will
that it's a
save you.
costume. So roll speech.
Why?
What did you get?
It's now off. Everything.
I hate it when that happens.
Where's the die? Where did the die go? Ah, fuck it. I'll roll this one.
Are you stuck, Kirill? Hold on 1 second.
That's
There you go. The cat was stuck on the string that's tied to the door. Eight.
Oh.
Okay. Let me find out if she has something. Evens or odds, Gwen?
Evens.
I'm sorry. So she pulls out a taser and zaps you with it.
Nice. I'm gonna dodge.
Go ahead and roll.
Something Liara's good. Could I roll deflect for this?
Technically, yes.
I don't see how.
You could try to move her hand, deflect her hand away.
I could use telepathy to do that. To deflect it.
Go ahead and roll.
That is a 29 for deflect.
She also got a 29, so re-roll.
Jeez.
Gosh! Badass! We got a badass on our hands.
That is a 27.
That is a 14.
Okay. So yeah, she pulls out this taser and just like zaps you with it.
Gosh, we got a badass.
So she tases you and screams, drops the taser and runs off again, and ducks down into an alley. Give me a quick sight roll though, as you'd probably
I'm
notice
going to
something
use
before you
this
start seeing
one.
stars.
I'm going to use this one. What? It's still a 14. It's not 1. But it's 2. The
Okay.
taser 14.
Okay. So you do notice before you get tased that the shadows have cleared and everything, but she's very pale. The whites of her eyes have started turning dark. It's not like completely black, but it's dark. And same thing as before, the colors of her clothes have been just faded severely.
So that's 6, 2.
But she does get away.
At least I haven't rolled a 1 today.
Yep. You are able to turn around, and you both see that the robes are just still in stasis, but there's nothing in them. They're just plain robes.
I'm just going to report to dispatch. Yeah, she got away and tased me, but we got her
Wait,
free.
she tased you? Why did she tase you?
Because she was in a unfamiliar situation and she was distressed.
Did
And
you
I
not
don't
announce that
blame
you're a
her at
Citadel?
all. I don't think she believed me.
Okay, that's weird. Did you catch the perps at least?
Yes. Sort of.
Well, I mean, what are they? Are they human? Are they Antarian?
They're
Or Arcarian rather?
they're disappearing.
Yeah, is there some new species that's like gas people? Because they seemed like intelligent dark fog.
Whatever this shadow is made of is what they're made of. And
Okay.
everything is still spinning.
So you want me to go tell the captain that the victim tased you and got away, and that our suspects literally vanished into to thin air?
Well, did the drone see them coming out of the shadow?
No.
Well,
Do
there's
the
your answer.
drones see the robes?
Let me check. Yes, I see you two
Yep.
standing over a couple of ropes.
Yes, there was something that was able to fill these that when the perpetrators were incapacitated, essentially discorporated themselves and melted out.
Okay, that's really weird. I'm gonna let you tell the captain that, so we'll see you when you get back to headquarters.
Yep. Weird enough that you could understand why the victim was so distraught.
Yeah.
Is to tase a sentinel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll see you when you get back. And as you're finishing up that conversation, may I have you both give me a hearing check.
I want to find that guy now. It was rolling 7. There it is. I mean, despite a few devils, how
Another
many
2?
Yes, yes. So it was hearing.
Yeah.
That's an 8.
Okay. Fortunately, this is still loud enough that that you still hear it just fine. And Patrick, that was a 32 for your hearing?
Yes.
Nice. All right, so you both hear a loud, almost like a sonic boom kind of sound in the sky. And as you both look up, you see this.
Huh. Liara, are you seeing this?
Do I see it?
Yes, you do. Everybody sees this. It's a giant
Nice.
black shadowy hole opening up in the sky, and these weird looking smoky tendrils are coming out of it.
I think we found the perpetrators.
Yep.
What do you do?
I'm good.
Dispatch, are you looking up?
You radio dispatch and you just hear static on the other end.
Well, that's great. Can they get one piece of tech to work today?
I'm beginning to believe you when you say tech is working against us.
Yeah. You hear sounds of panic in the city. And you look up and you can see that darkness is growing and it seems to just be absorbing every bit of light around it.
Does that seem like where we need to be heading? Liara?
Terminator 100 bonus
That seems
10
like where we'd
high
be
all.
needed.
I guess so, but I'm not very effective against the shadows. You seem to know what you're doing.
That's
How about you go ahead and I will go behind you.
probably the first time you've ever told me I know what I'm doing, so sure.
Hi, April. Thanks so much for that cheer of 100 bits. That will give somebody +5 temporary hit points. Who would you like to give those hit points to?
Not me. Not me.
All right. So, Delvis, you get 5 temp hit HP there. So yeah, as you start heading that way, you can see that this black spot is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and taking up more and more of the sky. Both of you give me another sight roll.
Finally.
Ooh, a decent sight roll for once.
Nice. So, Liara, you see
Everything.
dozens and dozens of these black, shadowy figures falling out of that hole in the sky and landing down at different parts of the city. You also start to notice that Delvis's hand is glowing again, and as you look around, as you're running, you can look at a lot of other people, and you notice even people that aren't sentinels, they're all glowing faintly yellow, as the entire surroundings are getting darker and darker. Delvis, you notice the figures falling down, but you don't notice the light.
I think I'm missing it because I'm not looking at people so much as just like yelling as I run by, like, move, like get inside, get anywhere that's not, get anywhere bright, find bright.
Alright.
And Liara's doing the same thing, except slightly behind Delvis.
Okay. Do you run towards any crowds, or do you run towards these figures that are falling out of the sky, or somewhere else?
I think maybe if the things are falling down if there's any like crowded areas of the city that they seem to be falling down into, like any big population centers that are going to need people to help evacuate.
They are falling all over the city, but you do spot a couple of places that would most likely have a lot of people as well. So some just like there's a central park area in the city that people usually there's a lot of people there. Some busier streets and things. So like a business center of the city is another option. Which of those places do you go to?
Let's go park.
Okay. So you run to the park, and you can see that there's crowds of people running towards you. Just like a wall of people running towards you. They're pushing each other. Some people are falling and getting stepped on. What do you do?
I'm just trying to weasel my way through the crowd. It's anybody that I see go down, I try and like help get them back onto their feet.
Okay.
Same thing.
Let me have you both give me a might roll then. While I let my cat out.
Not nimbleness?
Nope, might in this case.
Oof. I'm gonna use my reroll on that nat one.
Okay.
Even on a nat 1, you got 20.
Yeah, I'm not good at a lot of things, but the things I'm good at, I'm good at. 29.
Okay, 29. So, yeah, you meet the wall of people that are panicking and charging towards you, and you're able to hold your ground. You sort of sift through them, and you're able to pick a couple people up off the ground, and they go back to running with the crowd. Gwen, what did you roll?
9?
9. You try to make your way through the crowd, but there's too many of them, and they're just too scared, and you kind of get swept back with the crowd a bit, and you get separated from Delvis.
Oh.
As you, Delvis, as you make your way through the crowd, though, eventually you get out the other end, and you can see about 3 of those dark hooded figures slowly walking through the park. And as they do, you notice the plant life behind them is dead. Basically, as they walk, they just kill everything around them.
Are there any? Is the park pretty evacuated? Are there still people close to these things?
You notice a couple of bodies on the ground. They are completely devoid of color. It's just grayscale. But you can tell that they're dead. But they are walking slowly and steadily towards you.
In that case, I'm gonna charge at the one that's closest and take a swipe at them with my sword.
All right, go ahead.
And then I'd like to take like a physical swipe at one, but see if I can. What was it? We were using like link comparisons before. The one where like you swing and then like almost like an arc comes out.
Yeah.
To try and direct that at the others. So that would be. Is that magical weapon and then magical engineering on top of that?
I'll tell you what, actually, just make it a little easier. Let me have you do just 2 attack rolls and just spend 1 bonus action point to get the second action.
Okay.
And that'll count as basically 2 attacks.
Okay. That's 1. That's a 15 and a 29.
Okay. Both of those are going to hit. So go ahead and roll, let's say 1d8 for each attack.
Elvis is really good at hitting things.
And then you'll add your spiritual stat to that as well.
Okay. There's 1. So max damage and least damage from those 2 attacks.
So the one you deal 13 to recoils and hisses. And kind of takes a few steps back, holding this slash in his body. The other one takes the 6 damage and hisses at you and retaliates.
Yes, I'm yelling as I say that. You are all under arrest. Get down to the ground.
So he's going to attack you with another one of those blasts, like you got hit with before. What defense do you use? I forgot to ask you that at the end of your turn.
I don't know. Absorb, I guess? Or am I able to pick any of them, or how does that work?
Yeah, I forgot to ask you. At the end of your turn in an encounter, you will declare which defense you're going to go with. Word from the wise, absorb would give him a bonus to his attack roll.
Okay, then not that.
He is attacking with magic.
Okay, so you don't want to use absorb. Got it. I will just try and dodge them. Okay.
So go ahead and roll your defense. They did get a nat 20, so they're at 35.
Cool. I cannot hit that.
Okay.
22.
So it's gonna hit. And he deals 13 damage to you.
Okay.
And your sword goes out.
Shoot. That's more concerning.
You can cut it back on your turn. But yeah, it does temporarily go out. The third one continues walking towards the crowd of people. And that'll bring us to Liara. You've finally managed to get through the crowd, and you can see off in the distance Delvis squaring off with 2 of these dark figures, and the third one is walking roughly towards you.
Ooh. I'm gonna pull out the laser pistol and shoot the one coming at me.
Okay, go ahead and roll attack.
That's not great. That's 18 to hit.
An 18 to hit. Okay. That is gonna miss. They got a 25.
Liara cannot hit anything.
Do you keep running towards Delvis? Do you want to try to take another action, or what do you want to do?
Liara is going to try and maneuver herself closer to Delvis while at the same time avoiding the shadow creature.
Okay. So you take a you give the shadow creature a wide berth, but make your way over towards Delvis.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Delvis, it is your turn again.
Okay, so I've got 2 of these just roiling bags of mist that are kind of right on top of me.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to try and light up my sword, and I'd like to kind of pierce through one and see if I can light up a beam of light to go through him and into the other.
Okay. Go ahead and do a magic weapon attack roll. You are able to successfully turn your sword back on.
It's a 31.
Awesome. So you go to swing, but you're unlucky. So
Oh, yeah.
re-roll that.
Yeah, I am. Still a 25.
25. Okay. Let me see if that hits. They got a 30.
Ah!
So they managed to sort of like just willow in the breeze away, so your sword just barely misses their side. And you just hear this sort of like...
Am I able to still use an action point to try and burst and hit the second one? Or does that require me to hit initially?
You'd have to hit. You can spend a bonus action point to take an extra action to try to make another attack.
Yeah, I'll try and essentially I'll use one and essentially try and continue the attack on the one behind the one that just dodged at me.
Okay, so to use a bonus action, you'll go ahead and spend the point, and then just roll 1d20. And if it's over a 10, you get the action. If it's under, you don't get the action.
Got it.
So 15. So you get the action. Go ahead and roll your attack.
29.
29. Nice. They rolled a nat 20.
Jeez.
So you do a brilliant tactical move, flawless form, and swinging down at this shadowy figure. But they leave their robe and then just sort of break into 2 parts that go around you and then reform behind you.
Liara, did you know they could do that? Apparently they can do that.
No, I did not. That scares me slightly.
The one that just went into 2 pieces and then reformed, they just keep moving forward. So the grass and the bushes around them as they move continue to just turn into like this grayscale and then die. The one that hit you before is going to take another strike at you, though. So they're going to attack with a 17 with magic.
Sorry, I'm freezing up a little bit.
No worries.
Come on, roll with me. There we go. Ah, that hits. I only got a 14.
Oh, darn. All right. So they're going to do 12 damage, and your sword's going to go out again as you're just enveloped in this blast of black smoke. The third one is continuing towards the crowd of people. pretty much ignoring you, Liara. And it is Liara's turn.
Yeah, I'm going to try and stasis the one going at the crowd of people. So I have 2 bonus action points left.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely worth it. I'm going to try. Oh, 31.
Nice.
31. All right. That will hit.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll tech engineering.
Nat 20.
Nice. So yeah, you completely lock it down into place. You create this sort of like stasis field around it, so it's like this cylinder, so even the smoke part can't get out. And with that, we'll go back to Delvis.
Yep, I see that one is preoccupied now. Incapacitated, there we go. But the second one I know you mentioned is walking away, and I'd like to keep both of these two focused on me. So I'll take a swing at the one that's starting to walk away.
Okay.
And that's only a 14.
All right, let's see if that hits. Nope, they dodge quite easily.
I'm gonna try and spend a bonus action point again.
Okay. You get the action. So what are you gonna do?
Can I, instead of making an attack, can I try and do almost another flare up into the air just to try and keep their attention on me?
Sure. Go ahead and roll magic engineering.
So, hey, Smokey, where do you think you're going? It's a nat 1, but it's still a 21.
Still a 21. Holy cow.
Oh wow.
So you try to make the flare, but because you've been hit with so much of this darkness, it flickers and then goes back out again. But you're yelling, and so the one that's walking away turns around and decides that maybe you're worth eating first after all.
Plenty of meat still over
The
here.
one's that's stasis.
No, this is the one that's walking away from Delvis. The one that he had hurt initially.
Yeah, but then that I've missed with like 4 subsequent attacks.
Yeah, so he's like, maybe I'll finish this sentinel off after all. So he turns around and starts coming back towards you, and he's actually going to attack you. That's going to be 25 with magic.
Sure. Dodge 28 this time.
Nice.
I am unlucky though. You've still got one of those.
I know. I'm saving it.
Got it.
So yeah, you're able to tuck and roll out of the way, so the blast goes past you. The other one, however, is also going to attack you. Is a 36.
Yeah, we cannot roll that. But I guess yeah.
That's gonna be 15 damage.
Okay.
And put your sword out again. How you doing on health?
I'm at 28.
Okay, you're still okay.
I had a lot to start with, but I'm bloodied now.
Woo!
But I'm just still trying to
That's a
provoke
lot of
them
help.
at me. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So with that, it'll go to Liara.
Yeah, Liara's just going to shoot the one that she stasis. So +5.
Oh, shoot the one that you have in stasis? Yeah. Just go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay, damage would be. Yes, I am using this. Actually, no. This die. I'm using this die. That's 7 damage.
Terminator 100 bonus 10 here. Have more Dell.
It's another 5 bonus hit points to Dell. Thank you,
Wow.
April.
Thank you, April.
What was that, Gwen?
That's 7 damage.
Okay, so he gets hit with 7 damage, and you hear this as he takes damage. But seems relatively in good health for a ball of smoke, though.
Yeah, I only have 1 bonus action point. So I can't do much else.
Okay.
I mean,
Do you
I can
move-
run up. I can run up and punch it, but that would take me another action. So
Yeah. Do you move closer to Dell?
no,
Okay.
That's a good move.
I am staying where I am.
Okay. Then in that case, we'll go to Dell. Delvis, what do you do?
Not moving where I'm trying to attract all of them to is probably a better idea. It's let's see. Do I have like 1 to my back and 1 to my front now?
Yep. Pretty much.
Let me see if I can swing like into the first one in front of me.
Spin
And then
attack!
exactly. As I'm like making contact with the first one, if it works, I like to light it up and just 180 around.
Okay. Let me just go ahead and make 2 attack rolls,
Okay.
and then we'll do magic engineering.
Awesome. So it's just a 17
Uh,
and just an 18.
The second one's gonna hit. Reroll the first one.
Okay. A 17 again.
Oh, they got a
Exactly
19.
the same.
So you'll miss the first one, but the second one you will hit. So go ahead and roll magic engineering to see how effective that is.
Oh wow. Only
23?
a 23.
Okay, we'll call that a D8 then. So go ahead and roll 1d8 plus spiritual for the damage to the one behind you.
And I'm still trying to goad them on at this point. I'm just like,
Okay.
yeah, it's plenty to eat still here, folks. No need to leave. Feel free to surrender at any point. Take you into custody.
8 damage. Okay.
8 damage.
So it hisses at you and it seems irritated. They're both gonna attack again.
Sure.
So that's a 23.
Okay, a dodge of a 13, so that'll hit.
Okay. Second one's gonna attack with a 32.
Okay. 29, so nope.
All right. So that's 12 damage total from both of them.
Okay. Okay.
And with that, you both hear on the intercom, you hear a bunch of laser fire and gunfire in the background and a bunch of people yelling. And you hear somebody that's not the person you were originally talking to at dispatch. Wow, tongue-tied. Just yelling, going like, they've taken over the... Oh, this music got really loud. Sorry, one sec. It's too loud to think. There we go. Yeah, they've taken over the southeastern quadrant. We've already lost 6 sentinels. We're pulling back. Try to get as many people as you can out of the city.
Is there a rallying point, or are we just running wherever?
We're trying to get everybody to the north, Where did I have you before the northwest? So the northeast side of town, northeast side of the city. We're gonna try to hide out in the mines.
Okay.
But yeah, you basically get the general evacuation order for the entire city.
Ooh.
And
It's
you hear
kinda-
this thing has killed 6 sentinels already.
Which I take it is very bad. I take it that we do not die easily as a fighting force,
Yes.
especially with how little crime the city sees nowadays.
The most common cause of death for sentinels is old age. With that, it's Liara's turn. You're muted, Gwen.
Is laser pistol plus physical or plus mental? Because I might have been doing this wrong.
Plus mental.
Then that would be, yeah, more damage than what I was thinking.
Okay.
So I'm going to shoot it again.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage, because it's still in stasis.
So that's 8 damage.
8 damage. Again, it gets hit. It hisses at you. But it looks relatively healthy for a ball of smoke.
Can I roll bonus action point to shoot it again?
You definitely can.
Yeah. Roll above a 10. Roll above a 10. Nope. That's a 7.
Okay. So you don't get the bonus action.
That's my last point.
Do you move at all?
I'm going to move towards where dispatch set to go.
Okay. So you start essentially withdrawing from this encounter. There are a large number of people a little bit away from you that are watching. Do you talk to them? Do you tell them to get out, or how do you deal with this crowd?
I am going to just basically direct them towards where dispatch said to go.
Okay. Go ahead and roll speech to convey that they need to move to the northeast side of the city.
Oh my gosh. If you roll another 2, I'm going to... You know what? If I'm going to roll another 2, I'm going to roll 20.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
So the crowd is scared and confused, but you do a decent job of conveying that they need to move towards the northwest side of the city. You're able to let everybody know that there's a general evacuation order. So they start, albeit in a disorganized fashion, they start moving in that direction. So we'll go over to Delvis. What do you do?
Can I see the Yara starting to pull people away at this point?
Yes.
And not that Delvis has any great anatomical knowledge of balls of smoke, but it's from the ones that we saw melted before. Does it seem like these are doing okay, or I've just been irritating them?
They look smaller in mass than they did before. So you're definitely having an effect on them. You couldn't say if they're like bloodied or
right
or what, because they don't actually have blood. But they seem smaller, and your best guess is that you are inflicting damage.
Let me know if this is something that could happen or not. It's
Okay.
What I'd like to do is take like one passing swing as I turn away, but I'd like to see. I'm not sure if I've worked on this with my sword before, but I'd like to kind of strike the ground and almost leave a little bit of either like a beam or a wall of light temporarily to give people time to run.
Yeah, you want to make like a light shield?
Yes.
Yeah,
just like
go ahead.
some kind of obstruction to ward them off.
Yeah, go ahead and spend a bonus action point and roll magic engineering.
Okay.
I won't make you roll to attack the ground.
Okay. 38.
Yeah, you pull it off no problem, and you basically make a half circle, a really big half circle light wall. That the or more like a dome, really. And these shadow things are not able to get through it.
Yep, and it's
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm trailing at the back, just making sure people are moving. Just good thinking, Liara. I'm confident we could have beat them easily, but getting people out is more important. It was even though the fight was clearly in our favor.
Nice. So yeah, you hear.
I wholeheartedly agree with every bit of that statement.
You hear hissing on the other side of the wall, and it looks like they obviously cannot penetrate that light wall. So the other two go to the one that's in stasis, and collectively they get that one out of stasis, and they start moving off in a different direction, just sucking out all the life out of everything as they move along. So as you're guiding everyone away, you do hear over the intercom again, and this is a different voice that says, "All right, I'm showing Delvis and Liara in the northwest sector of the city. Are you still there? Are you directing people towards the mines?"
We're moving slowly, and we're moving people slowly in that direction.
All right. So there's a hospital right next to you, right next to your location. I need you to take everyone to the hospital and get them to the roof. It's a 2-story building, so just get them in the building and tell them to go to the roof. We're sending a transport to pick up as many people as we can.
Are we evacuating to the roof as well, or continuing to the mines?
The transport's going to take as many people as they can to the mines, and we'll keep making trips for as long as we can. So it's up to you if you want to wait there with the people in the hospital, or if you want to try to move towards the mines on your own and get more people as you go. We'll leave that up to your judgment, but yeah, we have an evac station set up at the hospital for now, and we're going to keep using it for as long as we can.
Understood.
So yeah, do you direct people towards the hospital?
Mm-hmm. Is it my turn?
Perfect. You're kind of out of turn order, so you can act.
Yes, I'm definitely doing that.
However you like.
Can I roll charm instead of speech for this?
Sure. By the way, you as you are continuing to move, you look up and you see that the sky looks like this now. Everything has gotten darker and more colorless.
Well, he's being nice to me.
So you are very charming, and you get everyone to like you, and because they like you, they move towards the hospital. As you're getting everybody through the doors, you make it to the hospital without much of a problem. And you're organizing people into a queue so that they can get through the door and get into the building. Give me a sight check, both of you.
Okay. Let's see what happens. No, I refuse.
What did you get?
It's another 2.
Gosh. 14. Okay. Delvis, what did you get?
16. But
16?
I had to roll a 14 to get up to the... Got a big sight disparity.
It's close enough. I will give it to both of you. You do notice off in the distance, looks like that same girl from before, the one that you were trying to rescue initially. You see her looking confused, and she runs into another alley. Do you stay with the people at the hospital, or do you run after the girl?
I know what I'm doing. What is Delvis doing? I am not following the girl.
Delvis is debating running after the girl on his own, or should I chase her down? I don't want to leave you all here without me. Does it seem like these things are advancing towards the hospital? Do we see?
You look around. You don't notice any of the shadowy figures in the immediate vicinity. They're all moving into different parts of the city. They don't seem in a particular hurry. All of them are moving with that sort of like evil supervillain confidence of I can just walk as slowly as I want because I'm going to kill everything regardless. That's kind of how they're moving. So you don't notice anything moving towards the hospital. There's also 3 or 4 other sentinels here at the moment on guard, so you wouldn't be leaving the people defenseless if you left.
I'm going to have one of the sentinels go after the girl.
Go ahead and roll speech.
Sure. 22. I love roll 20 right now.
So you talk to one of the other sentinels and you're like, hey, we need you to go get that girl. And the sentinel looks at you and goes, oh, hey, Liara, sorry, I've got orders. We have to stay here at the hospital. We're on protection detail. So we've been ordered to make sure that, that we hold this spot. We hold the evac zone for as long as we can. And we've been told other sentinels are on search and rescue.
Roger that. I'm going to go after the girl now.
Okay. He's apologetic about it, but he's like, I got orders. I'm sorry.
Orders are orders.
All right. So you both go after the girl then?
Yep. If you're up for it, I could go on my own if you'd prefer to stay.
No.
All right.
They said other sentinels are on. What did they say again?
The ones that you talk to are basically assigned to guard that spot. Basically, like, doesn't matter. They've been told it doesn't matter what comes down that road. You hold here for as long as you can. And other sentinels have been assigned to search and rescue.
Yes, search and rescue. That's
basically what you've been assigned to is search and rescue.
Yes. If I've been assigned to search and rescue, I'm going to be search and rescue.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd come, and it's he yells over his shoulder as he's already running.
All right. So you both run down that alley then?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you do, you make your way down the alley, and you look to see that girl standing there, and she looks pretty much like that. Like, there's just no color on her at all, and her eyes are completely black. She looks very confused.
Hello, girl. Don't tase me again. Look, we're actually sentinels, and we are here to direct you to the hospital because that's the evac.
There's a building right behind us. They're evacuating the city.
Yeah.
And she just kind of sways in place and looks really confused and looks at you like, what are sentinels?
I'm going to shoot her.
What? I was moving towards her. I was gonna pull a Herald from last night and just try and throw her over my shoulder.
Okay. Well, In that case, Liara, what's your alertness, and Delvis, what's your alertness?
Oh, awareness, you mean?
Or awareness, yeah, sorry.
26.
30.
Yeah.
All right, Delvis gets to move first. So you run up and try to throw her over your shoulder?
I try.
Give me a might roll. While you're doing that, Liara, you see Delvis go up and grab her. Do you still try to shoot her, or do you change your mind?
I just heard the girl hiss. My first instinct is to shoot her. But if Delvis does not get her, I'm holding my action. If Delvis does not get her, I won't shoot the girl.
Okay.
But I have the gun trained on her.
All right.
And I will pull as soon as something bad happens.
Got a trigger happy sentinel here. Great. Yeah, so you pick her up, no problem. Throw over your shoulder.
I apologize. Time is just of the essence.
And she just kind of keeps swaying, and she's like, time. Doesn't matter. Time. And she kind of trails off really quietly. Both of you roll sight real quick.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, so Liara with a nat 1, you are so focused on the girl that as you sort of take a step back with Delvis moving towards you, holding her, you step on a loose rock and land on your back and take 1 damage.
Nice.
Delvis, you actually rolled high enough to notice that not only the grass here, but like the rocks and the dirt and everything around this girl have started turning that black and white grayscale color. The buildings are starting to look washed out as well over here.
Oh, I do not like the looks of this area. We need to get this girl out of here. Something is clearly wrong with this place.
Yeah.
I think
the purplish pink sky is normal though for this planet.
Okay.
So
yeah, I don't know that I would make the connection that she may be causing it. I think I'm just in
my opinion, she's causing it though.
Yeah. I think that just didn't hit Delvis.
Let me have you both roll education. Let's see how well you logic this out.
I'm going to roll 2 dice because I do have learned, and this will speed things up slightly.
This seems appropriate.
Let's see. Yeah. I do have learned.
Okay.
Ah, nice. So that is a 31 for education.
Okay. So Liara, you recall that you've started to see that that washed out look on more than just people, and everything is getting darker, and so you're able to put 2 and 2 together and say that whatever this darkness is, that hole in the sky, it's sucking the color and the light out of everything on its own. It's probably not this girl that's causing it.
I don't shoot her.
Okay.
Okay.
Delvis,
Awesome.
you are trying to figure that out. You're like, okay, well, I know that other things were black and white, and this girl's black and white. Wait, which one are the prime colors again? And you get stuck trying to remember that. So you're like, is it purple? No, purple's a combination of 2 colors.
I think it's Roy G. Biv. I think there's a lot of them.
Yeah, you're like, those are all prime colors, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think about
Seven, 7 is a prime number, so there's 7 prime colors.
it. All right. So do you head back towards the hospital then?
Yeah. I mean, I stopped to help Liara up before we go. I do not trust whatever is happening in this alley.
Exactly. Let's
Okay.
go.
So yeah, you're able to do that. No big deal. You take care of that. You get back to the hospital, and at that point, the transport has shown up. And actually, everyone that's currently at the hospital, including yourselves, you're able to get on to this transport. There's enough room for everybody.
Yay.
Do you get on the transport now, or do you go back out into the city?
Let's get her onto the transport.
I think so. I think we get on the transport.
Okay.
That'll give us an aerial view. We can see if once we get there, if there's any pockets that need more.
Also, this
Or help
computer
sent out.
still clearly needs medical attention.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's when you say medical attention, like I think he sees a lot. I think I see a lot of blood on this girl, and then realize that like, oh hey, she's bleeding. Wait, no, maybe that's my blood.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't seem to be bleeding. Also, you notice that your blood looks extremely vibrant and colorful against her grayscale clothing and skin. But yeah, you all get onto the transport, you set her down, and she's like, "We go now? See the city?"
Yeah, can we get some medical attention for this girl?
You ask, but everybody's too busy dealing with other people. Most of the doctors and nurses stayed at the hospital for now. So there's just like a couple of nurses moving around from person to person.
Oh, the hospital staff isn't leaving?
No, they're staying there for now because there are more people that are coming.
Oh.
So the transport you're on, the plan is for it to go back and forth as long as it can.
Should we leave then? Do you think? I thought the whole
Well,
hospital was
the
evacuated.
farther away from the threat, the better.
Right. We need to get as many people far away from the threat as we can.
Yes.
Exactly.
So do we stay here to get more people? Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So you don't get on the transport.
No, but we do put the girl on the transport.
Okay. We'll have to retcon a bit there then. So rewind.
Yep, sorry. I thought that was like the last chopper out and everybody was leaving.
No. I mean, it sort of is the last chopper out, but it's coming back. Excuse me. Need the Care Bears to help fight the darkness. That's great.
all the prime colors of Care Bear.
Yes, all 7 of them. So yeah, you're able to help more people. After a while, you kind of go back and forth, branching out into the city, helping people get to the hospital. They do take a look at the girl. Because wait, did you say you wanted to put her on the transport, or
Yes.
wanted to get her medical attention?
She will get medical attention eventually if she's on the transport, and she will be farther away if she's on the transport. Far away from the danger.
Let me roll for something on that.
Oh gosh.
That sounds like something I would do.
Oh yeah, I'd be fine with it once I figure out that it's my blood on her and not hers.
Yeah, because the doctors there are probably going to want to take a look at her because it's very unusual. So yeah, the doctor does notice and goes, "Wait, before you put her on the transport, we've got the equipment here. So while we're still here, let's run some tests and figure out what's going on with this. Because other people have come in with some symptoms like this, but not nearly this bad. So the doctors kind of veto putting her on the transport so that they can run some tests.
Right. She was exposed to these things before the sky went dark. A few of these pockets were popping up before then, and she was stuck in one.
So the doctor looks at you and goes, "Okay, perhaps perhaps the pockets of shadow that were here are somehow more concentrated than what's up in the sky. We'll run some tests." The doctor's a Kataran, by the way. So they're short and slightly cat-like. So they take her off into a room and start running some tests. The transport leaves with all the crowd from the park that you had saved. So there's pretty much just doctors and nurses and a few sick people. Inside the hospital, there's 3 or 4 sentinels outside guarding the hospital. What do you do?
I think I would go up to the roof and just see. One, do I see? Just since that, I feel like that's the best perspective to look around.
Yeah.
To see if we see any more people fleeing or if we see any of those things getting closer.
I mean, that's part of search and rescue.
Yeah, you go up to the roof and you look around, and it does look like the city's been abandoned. This part of the city, rather, has been abandoned for the most part. You do find a pair of binoculars up on the roof that you're able to pocket if you'd like.
Liara can have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take those.
Make a quick sight roll.
Not bad.
So you check out the binoculars, and you see that there's an engraving on the binoculars. And you're not sure who this is, but it says "Property of Chekhov."
I love it.
Do you use them to look around the city, or just kind of use your eyesight? All right, so
yeah, I would use the binoculars.
You use the binoculars, and you can see there's a few stragglers that are coming in towards the hospital. A couple of them also look really washed out, like that other girl. Very grayscale all over.
Do I see anyone that needs rescuing?
They all seem like they're rough. They've been beat up or gotten obviously exposed to stuff. But they're making their way to the hospital, and it seems like all of the darkness, shadowy things are spreading outward rather than coming towards the hospital.
Got it.
That's odd. They're going away from the hospital.
They're going away from the hospital, but they're going towards the center of the city, where there's more people. I, the player, did not put that. Yeah, they're basically like systematically moving through the city. Evidently doing something to the people and the plant life and everything else to drain them of something. Your best guess is they're somehow draining light out of everything. So yeah, you're relatively safe from the shadowy figures for the moment, and it looks like the last bits of the people that are in this quadrant are making their way to the hospital.
Yeah. I believe we're in the best spot to do what we can. Unless you really, really want to go towards where they're going.
No, there's. Not that I don't think we would be able to help there, but I think there's plenty of people that need our assistance here still.
I'm
Um,
inclined to agree with that statement.
I think while we're having this conversation, I'm like looking around for any kind of like gauze or bandages to see if I could just stop some of my bleeding. But,
Yeah, there's a
but not wanting to bother any of the doctors who are like treating other people.
yeah, there's plenty of medical supplies. You're able to patch yourself up and stuff. No problem. You can roll medicine to try to heal yourself.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I can use my tech engineering for to help
to
fight the
to
shadows.
get HP back.
To fight the shadow.
Not a whole lot. I mean, you could try to help coordinate the evacuation efforts by working on a network or something like that. But there's not a whole lot to do tech-wise here at the moment. You manage to patch yourself up a little bit, and you get what's your mental attribute?
My mental is 2.
2. I think that's the right one. Just double check. Yeah. So you get 6 HP back.
Can I roll medicine to assist?
Sure.
Nice, 9.
You do a great job of handing Delvis bandages as he asks for them, but that's about it. So yeah, as you get patched up, you do hear over the intercom, all right, everybody, I think that's all we're going to get out of the northwest quadrant of the city. I've been getting reports from scouts that the entire area has either been, everyone's been evacuated or killed already. We don't think there's anybody left in the city except for what's there in the hospital. So go ahead and get the doctors and nurses out of there and withdraw to the mines.
Nice. We have direction. Let's go. Let's move. Let's move.
April says, tech engineering, couldn't you take the light from the x-ray machines and put them together and make a big bright light fight the shadows with? That's not a bad idea.
Nah.
If you were still fighting the shadows right now, that could actually work.
Right. What other areas of the electromagnetic spectrum besides visible light you could pull off of type thing?
Yeah.
Would be neat.
Yeah. Interesting idea. We'll see if anybody uses that idea later in this one or in some of the other parts of this miniseries. We'll find out. And the hospital always has backup batteries in the basement in case of power outages. Very true. So you get everybody loaded up onto the transport after it arrives back. Where do you sit in the transport? Your options are up in the cockpit with the pilot, in the front section with the majority of the doctors and nurses, or in the back with the few patients that they had still with them that they're moving. Choose wisely.
Doctors and nurses.
I was gonna say, I think I would be moving towards the cockpit, but then I think I don't know how much you trust me around any kind of motorized vehicle.
April suggests with the patients. Okay, so sounds like Liara, you're with the doctors.
Yeah.
Do you stop Delvis from going towards the cockpit?
Yes. I see Delvis going toward the cockpit, and I'm like, Delvis, hold on. You do not do well around tech.
I wasn't gonna try and fly it. I just wanted a good view, get a good aerial assessment.
Remember how tech hates us today?
Sure. So, should we be on the outside of the plane?
No, but just away from the instruments, please.
Okay. Anywhere
Okay.
that's the next best window is, I guess, where I'll sit to get kind of an aerial view of the city.
Insert.
Okay.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little bit stitious.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you're in the section with the doctors and the nurses, and the few healthy people. Um, two of the sentinels are the ones now flying the transport back. So most of them are up there in the cockpit. There's probably like one other one in the middle area with you. The plane or the vehicle takes off and starts flying over the city. You get a good view of everything, and you can see that there's a lot of destruction. It looks like a ghost town now. Just what had once been as this bustling, thriving city is now the very opposite of that. And it's pretty striking. As you are paying attention to that, give me a hearing check.
Hearing check. Not terrible.
27 on my end.
13.
Okay. 13 and 27. So Liara, you don't hear this initially. Delvis, you'll hear it first. Delvis, you from behind you, you hear a couple of people in the back going, voices.
Oh
The
god.
voices calling. Darkness. Voices. Make him stop! And when they say stop, that's when, Liara, you actually hear the screaming. And you both look back and you see all of the grayscale people holding their ears and writhing on their little cots.
Yikes.
Can I start pulling non-grayscale people out of there? Just like move up.
I mean, yeah. Everybody who's healthy is already sort of pressing towards the cockpit, but there's not a lot of room. But yeah, there's a little bit of space now between where the patients are and everybody else, and you and Liara are in that space. They're still writhing on the ground. What do you do? Or on their cots, rather.
Liara, do you have any ideas? There's not a lot of things for me to hit.
I mean, I could roll education or medicine. I don't know what to do.
I guess the one idea I might have had based on my pontifications about primary colors is I've been making light from my sword, and light is made of all the different colors. I don't know if I could try and like focus the magic specifically in it to see if I can, where I've just been doing beacons of like bright white light, I wonder if I can almost make like a rainbow beacon if I can add color to the situation.
Could you please do that?
Yeah, go ahead and try. April also suggested having doctors give them a sedative. But yeah, go ahead and try your light idea.
That's a smart option. I'm gonna throw a rainbow at it.
You're gonna be a Care Bear.
A 30.
Care Bear stare. So do you just target like all of the patients or a specific one at a time? How do you focus this?
I think it's almost like just like a radiating aura, like from the sword. Like I'm just kind of like trying to shine like almost like a rainbow floodlight on the area.
Okay, gotcha. Wanted to make sure I was on the same page with you there.
Care Bear stare.
So here's what happens. The ones that were not completely grayscale start to improve. They look better. They quiet down. The color comes back to their clothing, their bodies, their faces, and they start to calm down. The other ones, so the girl that you were trying to save initially, probably like maybe 2, maybe 3 other of the patients, start hissing.
Oh.
and their heads snap very quickly and stare at you, and their eyes open, and you see they're completely black, and they open their mouths to hiss at you, and black smoke just pours out of their mouths.
I absolutely. Do I have my bonus action points back?
You are in another encounter, so yes, you do.
Oh, yay.
Awesome! So I am going to stasis them.
I just yell over my shoulder. It's like, Operation Rainbow is meeting mixed success.
Okay. So yeah,
Roll
we'll
to
start.
hit.
We'll start basically the turn order there with the black smoke coming out of their mouths. So, Delvis, you're already taking the action of using the rainbow. So yeah, we'll go to Liara next.
Yeah. Roll to hit. Roll to hit. Roll to hit. Oh, ouch. That's still a 22. So that could hit.
Did you roll a nat 1?
No, it's a 7.
Okay. So 22 to, what are you trying to hit?
The one on the left, I think. There's two,
So,
right? One
There's
on the left, one.
There's 3 currently. There's 2
Oh.
randos, one on the left, one on the right, and the girl you tried to rescue initially, she's in the middle. They're all laying on beds.
Yeah, the girl I tried to rescue initially.
That's who you're trying to shoot?
I hold grudges.
Okay, so it was a 22, you said?
Yeah?
She got a 26. She basically does like something out of a horror movie, like The Exorcist or something. She's basically like crab walking, kind of like, so she's got her hands and legs, and she's like her back is towards the ground, and she's looking back over her shoulders at you. So she sort of lifts herself out of the way of the blast and hisses at you, and more smoke pours out.
I really want to stasis her. I have more bonus action points. Can I try and stasis her again?
You can certainly try. So roll to see if you get the bonus action.
You know, I'm going to use roll 20. Yes. Yes.
So you get a bonus action. Go ahead and roll your attack.
33.
That will hit. Go ahead and roll to see how effective it is. Actually, no, hold on. I have a reroll. I'm going to use the reroll. Nat 20.
Gosh.
Got it.
I'm going to be a little evil and use my reroll for that. So yeah, that was a nat 20, so they dodged that one.
I'm gonna try again.
Okay, roll to see if you get the other bonus action.
Okay.
No! Alright, so the turn will pass to our, we'll call them infected. So they start stumbling off of their cots, the one on the left and the right. And the one on the left grabs his stomach and doubles over. And you just hear this hissing and bubbling noise. And then just this as this like boiling tar like substance seems to just pour out of his mouth and immediately turns into that black vapor, the black smoky stuff that the creatures are made out of. And yeah, you now have a black smoky creature standing in front of you as the body of that guy just crumples to the floor. And it hisses at you. The one on the right, moves over to one of the exit doors on the back of the transport.
Oh gosh.
He makes it to the door, and that's all he can do for now. The girl in the middle is still walking like she's out of like some Exorcist movie or something like that, and charges towards you, Delvis. And she's going to try to bite your leg. You can roll any defense that you'd like.
So just to make sure I understand how things work, a bite is a melee thing, so she would
Yes.
have advantage if I dodged.
Correct.
Then I will try and absorb.
Okay.
22.
Yeah. You basically manage to just barely pull your foot up enough in time to where she just bites the real meaty rubber part of your boot instead of your actual leg. So you don't take any damage. I'm gonna use a bonus action on her though. And that will succeed. Got an 18. And she's gonna try to bite you again.
Sure.
That's gonna be a 23.
Okay. 26.
You were very unlucky.
Yes. So reroll that then.
Reroll.
19.
Alright, so she's gonna bite you. It's only gonna be 2 damage. But
You said this was a second encounter as well, right?
yeah, your bonus actions are back.
And my 10
so-
hit points are back.
Yes. So she'll do 2 damage, and your sword goes out.
Okay.
Your leg feels funny.
Mm.
With that, it'll be your turn. So just a quick review, since we don't have like tokens on a map here. You have the victim from the initial crime is biting your leg. You've
Victim.
got
Which
you've got
feels funny.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing else going on there.
Of course not. You've got one of the other guys is at the exit door to the transport. Clearly, his intention is to open it, and you're up in the air.
Yes.
And you have a shadow figure on the other side of the transport, where you are. But that one's focusing its attention on Liara for right now, it looks like.
Can I... Again, since I'm just trying to learn things still, you let me know if this is possible.
Sure.
Can I try and, instead of like a melee attack, can I try and like physically like jump at the guy that's at the door and try and knock them down?
Yeah. I mean, the girl's not like grappling your leg, so she just like has her mouth on it at the moment. So you'd be able to do that no problem.
Yeah, I'd like to try and essentially just physically force him away from the door.
Yeah, just do a might roll. Just gonna leap and try to grapple him, basically.
Actually, yeah, I'd like to try and tackle them, and then, woo, 38.
Okay. So you definitely leap and knock him away from the door. Let's see if you actually manage to wrestle him and grapple him. Yeah, you have a firm hold on him. He's not going anywhere right now.
And then, again, pitching this as a bonus action, you tell me if this is not something that would work. You said they're moving around almost like crab walking, like out of The Exorcist?
The first girl is the one that you saw
Okay.
initially. The other two, well, one is now a ball of smoke, and the other one was moving fairly normally, just looked really sick.
Was this one also kind of spewing smoke from his mouth?
He is. They all of their eyes are black, and they all have that vapor coming out of their mouth, except for the one that vomited up a shadow person.
Okay, I've got no idea if this would work, but I'd like to essentially lay my sword, like not pointy, but like the hilt on their chest, and see if I could just flare up another rainbow and just scream like, "Get out of them!" Like I was trying to
Out,
exorcise it.
demons!
The power of light compels you.
Yes.
The power of rainbows compels you.
You can certainly try. So that would be just a magic attack. Well, roll to see if you get your bonus action.
Oh, yep. That's important. Sorry.
No worries.
Next
Oh,
character,
nice.
Rainbow Bright.
So with a nat 20 on
Serious.
that, you get the bonus action, but you don't have to spend the point.
Nice.
So you get the bonus
Nice.
action for free. So you definitely get that. So go ahead and roll your magic attack. I'm not even going to make you do that because you have him grappled. It's easy peasy. So just roll your magic engineering.
Okay.
Come on now.
I'm not going to make you roll to set a sword on his chest.
Rolled a 2, so a 22.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to accomplish what you were trying to do. The effect may not be exactly what you're hoping for, but you did what you set out to accomplish. You do the rainbow. He just hisses at you and writhes in your arms, and it feels really creepy. And then he vomits up that black tar stuff, which turns into a shadow figure, which is now looming over you and his shriveled up body, basically.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, is if he's dead, essentially, still.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Currently appears dead-ish.
he's not dead. He's a shadow creature now.
Okay.
So basically dead.
He shed his corporeal form.
Yes. With that, it's going to be their turn. You prevented them from opening the door. So the girl is going to move over and try to bite Liara.
Awesome. So, what would I roll to have a bonus? I think it's not a. Oh wait, it would be absorbed. Okay.
So she's gonna try to bite you, and that's gonna be 21. Also, I just got a notification. Not sure why it didn't go off on Twitch, but thank you very much to April for the $9 donation. I think that was 9. Sometimes it takes out the fees first.
Nat 20.
So yeah, you can give. I'm going to call that $10 worth of stuff. So you can do a sensu bean, or you can do a combination of the other things below that. 3 coffees. Okay, cool. So it was the right amount. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call that 10. So you can do a sensu bean to one character, or a combination of the cheaper options. And thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Sorry, Gwen, what were you saying?
Nat 20 for absorb. 29.
Nice. So yeah, you basically are able to kick her in the mouth as she tries to bite your leg, and she'll take a couple of damage, and be like, "Stop struggling."
Same to you, sister.
All right. The one shadow figure is going to try to blast you, since it's standing right in front of you. And that will be an 11. Not sure if you can dodge that, but an 11 attack on you, Liara.
31.
Liara, nice. And you've been given a sensu bean, Liara. So that is worth half of your HP.
Thank you very much.
Also, if you don't end up using that this session, because I know you are planning on playing in some of the other ones, remind me so I can make sure that that does carry over for you. Hey, Renegale.
Hi.
All right.
Hello there.
So the blast misses. And then I believe that is all of their actions, so it should be Liara's turn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Stop struggling.
Okay.
It's to hit. Stasis. 32 to hit.
32. All right. You're going for the girl,
I
I assume.
always roll high on these and then it never hits.
I rolled 3,
Nice.
so
Yes!
it definitely hits.
Magic engineering? Or no, tech engineering. Yes, that's the one. Because this is bad. Terrible. 24
Night, April. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.
for stasis. Yeah.
24. Okay. Yeah, you managed to get her into stasis, and she hisses and spits at you and looks very angry.
Bonus action! Good try and bonus action. Nope.
Okay. With that, it will go to Delvis.
Yeah. Don't let her bite you. My foot feels funny. Do I think
She's not biting anyone now.
do I think the kind of erupting light from my sword earlier, do I have enough fine control of that to not blow holes in the ship, or should I avoid doing that?
Don't roll a 1. That's
Okay.
my answer to that.
Okay.
And I've already made you use your 2 unluckies, so you're,
If
you're
there's a
safe from
chance,
that.
if there's a chance, Delvis can do it. That's his. He's arrogant. He can pull this off.
So you're basically like, what's his name from Dumb and Dumber when he's like, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yes. Yep. So I'm gonna try the same stuff I was doing on all those shadow things I was missing earlier. Where I'll try and do that thing that I thought would be super cool about stabbing through one and then seeing if I could burst some light through to hit the next one behind it.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay. 19.
Okay. Excuse me.
Bless you.
9, 10. So they got a 21. So good news is you didn't blow a hole in the plane, but you missed.
One day I'll hit one of them. One
Yeah.
day.
You still can use bonus actions to try to attack again.
Let's
if you
do
want.
that. Let's
Okay.
yeah.
Let's see if you get the bonus.
16.
You do. So go ahead and roll your attack again. We'll see if we can make it work this time.
22 this time.
A little bit better. And that will be a hit. So go ahead and roll magic engineering. We'll see if you can get that second attack in.
That's a 37 on that one.
Yes, I'm not even going to make you roll another attack roll. Just do 2d8, and that'll be 1d8 to both, plus your spiritual attribute.
Uh, 14.
14.
So like 9 and 6 and 3. I can math. How did that work? Was it 1d8 plus 5 and 1d8 plus 5? Is
yes,
that how it would have
so
been?
it'd be
Okay.
6 and
6 and 13. Sorry.
13, yeah. Okay, so the one in front of Liara doesn't get a whole lot of damage. It takes the 6, but the one in front of closest to you takes a lot of damage. And it hisses at you. You see these 2 red-looking lights where there would be eyeballs glow in its head, and the shadow figure's head. And then it goes into one of the air vents.
Okay.
The one in front of Liara hisses and turns its attention to you and tries to attack you.
Isn't it stasis?
No, the girl is stasis.
Oh yes, because we are holding.
So it gets a 9. So dodge and or deflect or absorb a 9.
This is at Delvin, right? Delvis?
Yeah.
Okay. 18.
Okay, you're good. So yeah, it misses you. The girl who's in stasis just starts laughing, like cackling, like useless. Stop
Yes.
struggling. Give in to the darkness.
How about you give in to my pistol?
It is your turn.
I'm gonna roll a d6 plus 6. That's 5 plus 6 is 11 damage.
Where are you aiming it?
At her head.
Okay, you kill her.
Wonderful.
However,
I was gonna say, does anything leak out?
yep, out of that bullet wound, black smoke starts pouring out, and there's another shadowy figure standing there, and it laughs at you. And it says, "She wasn't like the others. She might have survived, but you murdered her."
Yeah,
it
I
just
don't
kinda
believe
goes-
you.
Yes.
Ah! That's another.
No.
That's all my bonus action points.
And it'll be Delvin's turn. Or Delvis, rather.
Shoot. So there were 2 and a girl. One vented out now, and then the girl died, and now there's just 2.
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna Delvis is gonna stick with what Delvis knows and swings.
Okay.
He's got a limited skill set. Yes, that's 26.
26.
Yes.
And who are you swinging at?
The one closest to me.
That's going to be the girl.
Okay. All right. I thought one of them got.
Yay!
I thought the girl.
So the one you were, the guy you were grappling, his shadow thing went up the vent.
Okay.
And then next to him was the girl, and then next to her was the other shadow figure.
Okay.
So the other shadow figure is still in front of Liara, but shot at you.
Got it.
The girl is now a shadow figure. And then there's you. Plus the 3 human bodies that are on the floor.
Got it. If this connects, I will try and radiant swipe across both of them with some
Okay.
magic and an extra attack.
Sounds good. It was 26. Yes, it does hit.
So that's for the girl. Here's a d20 to see, I guess, if the next attack goes through. Which it does.
So yeah, we'll call that a hit as well.
And then, do I roll some magical engineering on this now too, or?
I won't make it. Just go ahead and roll another d8 plus 5.
Okay.
Because we are, we're actually over the time that I wanted to do, but that's totally fine.
Okay.
But
So
at this point, you're going to succeed with this fight. It's just this way we don't draw it out. So yeah, you hit them both. You tick them both off. They both go into the vents. Roll hearing, both of you.
It's a 32.
32. And Gwen,
Mm-hmm.
roll hearing.
Hearing. Awesome, because I'm so good at that.
You see
24.
the things. I'll hear the things. Between us will be good.
Yeah, you both hear sounds coming from the engines that they should not be making while you're in the air. And then you hear a small explosion, and the plane starts going down. It's not like dropping like a brick, but you're descending rapidly. What do you do? There are no targets, so your encounter is finished.
So, are you up there? Are you good at crash landings?
If they're not, I am.
You hear the pilots up in the front panicking, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going down. I think we're gonna have to abandon the plane. Try to get as many people as you can. Those repulsor lifts double up. We'll try to get everybody off."
Would this count as a new encounter?
It does. The encounter's over. The shadow creatures are not there.
Nice. I'm going to try and lift the plane.
Gosh.
Okay, that's one route you can go with it.
With my yes, because I have that as one of my tech abilities. Or,
Awesome.
Psi abilities.
Go ahead and roll. Tech engineering for this one.
Okay, let's go. 30.
Nice. Yeah, you are able to succeed with that. The plane still crashes. And it definitely hits the ground. Parts are coming off of it. You all black out for a little bit as you're tossed around. But everyone survives because you did that.
Nice.
Cushioned the blow a lot. I told you I'm good at crash landings.
Yeah. Had you not helped in some way, either by doing that or trying to find a way to make it a softer crash landing, only the Sentinels would have lived. So, congratulations. You saved all the civilians and the doctors and the nurses.
Yes! Yes, I feel great.
With that, you awaken to this scene. Everyone is on the ground. People are tossed all over the place. Everyone's alive, but everyone's pretty beaten up. You look around and you see the doctors, the nurses, some of them walking, some of them crawling as they go over to others and check them out and make sure they're still alive. It takes everybody a while to pick themselves up and dust themselves off. You can see the plane is totaled. It's never flying again. What do you do as you sit up?
So, this is like the third time Liara's been had her bell rung this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of used to it. So she's just looking around. Oh, this is status quo, isn't it? Sight roll. 23.
23? Yeah. You look around and you can see that, yeah, it looks like everybody made it out alive except for, the 3 that turned into smoke creatures. You look around and there's no sign of them anywhere. Whatever they did to the plane, they're either still in it or they left. But they don't seem to be a threat at the moment.
I honestly don't believe that smoke creature when they said what they said.
Yeah. All you really know is that the girl was different from the other 2, but there's no real way to tell if that creature was lying or telling the truth when they said that she might have survived.
Because I did not insight check.
Nope, you did not roll gut feeling on that one. Or, gut feeling. So yeah, you don't know. Maybe that question will haunt you for the rest of your life. Maybe it won't.
I'll roll gut feeling just in case. This is 9.
That question haunts your dreams at night.
Nice.
Uh,
We've got the residual trauma. Check mark.
Right. It's while nobody else is looking, I take a peek at my leg.
You notice that there's this weird black line coming up the vein on your leg very slowly. It's starting to spider out from that bite. It's not like if you watch it, you can see it moving. But it's definitely moved out from the bite. You have no idea what that means. It just doesn't look good.
Does it... If I try my exorcism trick from before, does it seem to react negatively if I try and just focus some light on the area?
You can certainly try.
I'd like to try.
Rowan.
Go ahead and roll magic engineering.
Oof, only a 25.
25. So yeah, you put your sword up by it and you hit it with some light. The black lines retreat a little bit, but not all the way.
Got it.
So it seems to help, but it does not seem to have cured whatever this is.
No.
Liara, you do feel as you start to sit up that you're currently laying on a pair of binoculars.
Nice.
You know, the ones that say property of Chekhov.
Are they broken?
They are not broken.
Nice.
Would you like to use them to look back at the city?
Yeah.
So as you sit up and you look around, you can see the city is behind you. And through the binoculars, you can see that most of the entire city looks a lot like this. All the color's been sucked out of everything. It's all dark and very monochromatic and dusty and foggy. You can see the occasional dark, shadowy figure flutter through little gaps in the walls and the buildings. You can't get a lot of information on if there's anybody alive in there or what exactly they're doing in the city, but you know for sure that the city is lost. Delvis.
I believe we're one of the lucky ones.
Yes. As Liara is looking through the binoculars, you look the opposite direction. And you can see that you made it pretty close to the mines. So the plane did go down, but you're within walking distance of the rendezvous point for the survivors of the city. You can see that the atmosphere is looking a little bit thinner. Obviously something is happening to the planet's surface that is starting to make this area dangerous. There's no way of knowing if it's going to make it inhabitable, or uninhabitable rather, or toxic, or what exactly is going on. But the darkness is definitely altering the surface. So you can see everybody pick themselves back up. The doctors and nurses help the injured, and they all support each other and start making a group that goes towards the mines. As you look around, do you say anything or do anything?
I do not say anything about my leg. I cover that up, and then I just
Okay.
come back out.
Do I see the lag?
Roll sight.
No, I probably don't.
15? No, you don't. So one of the other sentinels comes up behind the both of you, and he's a little older. He's been around the block a few more times, and puts a hand on both your shoulders and says, I just heard this is happening in other cities around the planet as well. Plan now is to go to the mines, try to hold out there. There's enough equipment and supplies down there to last for a long time. Maybe we'll even rebuild a city down there until we can take back the surface. But for now, we're going to stay in communication with the other cities. If we find one was able to stand up to the darkness, we'll rendezvous there. But for now, the plan is to just survive. We'll survive underground. We'll harbor our light, and one day when we're regrouped and resupplied and we're ready, we'll take back the darkness.
Liara, who is used to tackling all of her problems with her mental prowess, is kind of feeling useless right now.
Okay.
Like, there's nothing she can do against the darkness.
So,
Okay. Does she say anything, or just sort of processing that thought?
Yeah, just processing that thought.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what she can do.
All right. And then-
Probably working on some design at the moment to make something to copy basically Delvin's abilities.
Okay. And Delvis, do you say anything or do anything as you approach the entrance to the mines?
oh, it's so we're kind of getting to the mines already at this point.
Yeah, you've been walking a little ways as they were talking, and you can see the entrance to the mines now.
Okay. At that point, I'll pull Liara aside and I'll show her where I was bit. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want anybody worrying while we were walking, but now that we're here, so yeah, don't let that. Like I said, don't let that girl bite you. I've been doing my thing to see if I can get rid of it, but
Honestly, your powers seem to get rid of that. So
it was slowing down the spread of it, but I haven't been able to get rid of it. I guess, I don't know, setting wise, since we're pretty sci-fi, I imagine, like, I don't know what the availability in the mines are, but I imagine like cool cyborgy steampunky things are possible. So it's
They are in the cities.
in the city. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. That's kind of what I figured. But Liara's smart. I'll keep trying to pump light into this, but it may have to.
yeah,
If I may need your help making a new one.
Yes. I'll see what I can do.
Right. I'm not gonna let it spread. I'm gonna get rid of it before it becomes a problem. But
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I imagine that's something the doctors will be able to help with instead of just with this.
We have plenty of doctors around here.
All right. Well, as you start to enter the mines,
Well, not plenty. I'm sure we need a few more.
everybody looks very downtrodden and depressed, obviously. And as the giant metal doors to the mines are pulled shut, leaving you all in just dim electric light, that same sentinel that was talking to you before hops up onto a couple of boxes and talks to everybody, and tries to give at least an inspiring speech, saying that while you've been denied your homes, you've been, robbed of loved ones, and we don't know what this is or where it came from. He says we'll regroup, and we'll never forget. We'll hold on to our light, and we won't forget what happened here. And with that, we will pan back to totally lost my train of thought there. Sorry. We'll pan back to Delvis. It's now that night, and you've settled down. You've put your things away. You've sort of carved out your own little corner of this area, and as you go to sleep, you hear in your ear the voice of that girl, and it just says, "Give in to the darkness." And that's where we'll end. So thank you guys so much for playing. That was a lot of fun. We will be doing at least three more parts to this, which will be happening in other cities around the planet of Kara. So if you would like to play in future episodes, I believe, Gwen, you're already planning on it. But Patrick as well, if you would like to join one of the other episodes, you're more than welcome to. You can continue with your current characters as well, or you can make new ones, because the cities will be slowly grouping up and coordinating together. So those are things that are upcoming if you would like to do that. Let's see, I'm gonna bring us here.
Yeah, the thing about it is I was originally planning on creating a new character, but now I've got the idea of creating a machine that replicates like Delvis's powers, and I'm like, I love that idea.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that for sure. At some point before the next one, which is going to be Tuesday, I believe. So Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll do part 2. We'll have some new faces here with us. I believe it's going to be... let me just double check my notes here. So on the next one, we're going to have Gwen here, of course, and Buggy, who you may know from our The Peasant Strike Back show on Monday nights.
Yeah.
We'll have Pink Eldritch, or Victoria.
Victoria.
And I believe our fourth player is going to be Econorlax, who you may have seen on our Cartoon Heroes one-shot. So I'm very excited for that. That's going to happen in a different city, same planet, and it'll happen shortly after the events of what we saw here in part 1. It's pretty exciting stuff. It'll be a good time. So this has been Lightbringer Descent Part 1, part of a mini-series. All of this is leading up to the Lightbringer campaign. Thank you. The Lightbringer campaign, which will begin in January for Season 3 here on the Blackfeather Guild. So if you do want to be part of one of these one-shots, like I said, just message me, DM me on Twitter, on Discord, wherever, and I will do my best to get you into one of the mini-series one-shots. And then later, either this month or beginning of December, we're going to do a casting call to pick the permanent 4 cast members for the Lightbringer campaign, which will be set 200 or 300 years after these events. So underground, with the descendants of the survivors. Should be really fun. Yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you, everybody, for playing. Gwen and Patrick, you did great. I loved your characters so much. It was so much fun.
Everything about that was awesome. It was so much fun.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
So many twos, so many.
I know. We'll do our outros here real quick.
At
we'll
least
start
Roll
with
20 wasn't being mean.
Yeah, that's true. So Gwen, what was your favorite part, and then where can we find you next?
So, my favorite part had to be when we were on the plane and it was about to crash, and I'm like, miffed! And
So
you're
good.
like, that'll actually work, and I'm like, yes! And I saved everyone.
That was pretty great, and yeah, absolutely. The plane crashing definitely would have killed at least most of the civilians had you not been able to do something. So you definitely saved the day there. And then where can we find you next?
So, I don't know. Wait, tomorrow on Badlands.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting today's Friday. Yes,
Yeah,
tomorrow on Badlands.
That's what I'm like, today's what? Friday?
Perfect. All right, and then Patrick, we'll pass it off to you. What was your favorite part?
Oh, I don't know. I think just everything about getting to play Delve is just like a bit of a dummy, like lovable goof guy who just swings a sword and throws rainbows at things. just makes like the silliest observations about aggressive shadows.
Yes, that was fantastic.
That's gotta be the raid cry.
Yeah, I've got it right now. As soon as I heard that, I typed it in. I was like, "Yep, that's definitely going to be the raid cry." Assuming nothing funnier pops up, but
Yeah, it just felt great with him to like. How many problems can I solve with this sword? I guess I'm performing a rainbow exorcism now.
That was great. I loved that, and it worked on those who weren't already too far gone.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I had a great time. That was such a fun setting.
Keep going, darkness.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah,
Where can we find you next?
You can catch me Thursday mornings at 12 Eastern. I'm on the Greyhawk channels from Beyond Orth. And Thursday evenings, I am here on Star Chaser.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, we'll pass it back to me, I suppose. So I am Raven. I am a professional tabletop RPG game master, designer, and streamer. And you can find me next. Also tomorrow, I will be jamming Badlands Before the Fracture at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And that should be pretty fun. We are currently inside the 1920s research asylum. So there's going to be a lot of creepy things happening there, more than likely. So looking forward to that. So definitely come by and check that out. If you'd like, you can find me and Gwen both there tomorrow, as well as our other cast members. And yeah, for now, we're going to go on a raid. Yeah, Vera and Rowan will both be there. But with that, we are going to say farewell for tonight, and we're going to go on a raid. Looks like Straticus is doing a subathon, and he's going to be streaming for quite a while. So we're going to send you all over there for now. Definitely give Scrat a follow if you're not already following. Is a fantastic human being and amazing streamer. And one of the people that inspired me to do what I do now. So can't say enough good things about Scrat. Definitely go check it out. So we'll go on our raid now. And then our raid cry is going to be that in chat. There's an aggressive shadow here. And then we will see you tomorrow. Bye.